relay team to a big victory in the semifinals, sending the Americans to the final. In Major League Baseball, the White Sox firing manager Pedro Grifol.
It's time.
You know what time it is?
The game for Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show.
The biggest goal of our team,
especially in the first half,
we at Bama, we're trying to be the best. Always is to win a national championship.
Something cool to look back on.
We don't want to waste a failure.
You're inside the game.
John Mechie on the ground.
Appreciate your interest in the game.
On your home for Alabama sports.
Alabama wins.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. And now, here's your award-winning host, Ryan Fowler.
How are you doing, Tuscaloosa? Big good afternoon to you. Welcome into the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. I noticed today was a little milder. Does that mean the media is not paying the preacher as well as we need to? Because you do look at the outside. I mean, it's a little bit of overcast here in Tuscaloosa, but it's still a beautiful day. And we're going to talk some Alabama Crimson Tide football. We're also going to be talking about a big event. I just got liberty to discuss this. Remember last year when we did the big event where we had a chance to go out and Reese Davis came here. I was a part of it with Coach Terry Jones. I have been given liberty to discuss the Pigskin Kickoff. And it will be another event. Many of you have been asking me about this certain day. We have been able to finalize some things. John Hannah is going to be the featured speaker. For those who have never heard, the College Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, one of the greatest offensive linemen, the greatest offensive lineman to ever play the game, and an All-American here, and an individual that I'm proud to call a friend. John is going to be coming down and giving us an opportunity to listen to him bring a message. But I tell you what, really, it's almost a co-event. Now, when you look at John Hannah, no doubt, I mean, any part of it, he's going to be the headliner. But let me go through the guys that are going to open it up. And I think this is what's going to be able to kind of push this over the top. Someone that I have been a friend with a long, long time. And I've people that will ask me from time to time, what's it like to be a friend of Cedric Burns? Cedric Burns has been very loyal to the University of Alabama. He has worked with multiple different coaches from Coach Bryant to Coach Perkins to Bill Curry to Coach Stallings to Mike DeBose to Coach Fran, Coach Price, Mike Shula, and then the 17-year run. There's probably not very many individuals that knows and has the amount of knowledge that he has because he's been very loyal to the University of Alabama. And being a friend, I've never tried to ask him, a question to put him in a bad spot. We've hunted together for years. I revealed that recently because Coach Saban is now retired and he's no longer working in a football office. But had lunch today with Cedric, and we're excited about this Pigskin Kickoff. And it's going to be, once again, at the University Church there. And we'll talk more about the details here and dive into a lot of different things. But, man, we are so excited. But it's going to be myself is going to be interviewing Cedric Burns. And we just got a couple of minutes ago. Check this out. You guys ready for this? Ready for this one? Okay, so it's going to be Cedric Burns, John Hannah. I mean, that right there within itself is an awesome event. Truly an awesome event. How about this? You ready? You guys ready for this? Little Pigskin Kickoff? How about Nate Oates? It's going to be added to the lineup. So we'll do Nate Oates. He'll start things off because he has a meeting a little bit later that evening he's got to get to. So he's going to swing by and talk a little Alabama Crimson Tide basketball. I'll stand up there and interview Nate Oates, just like I would on here on the radio, and we'll do it there live at University Church of Christ, which is 1200 Tutwiler Drive there. And this benefit, once again, going to be benefiting the Tuscaloosa Angels. If you know anything about the Tuscaloosa Angels, they are a ministry that helps with foster kids, people in resources and providing. So we did this last year. They've done it for several years. I got involved last year and was asked to interview Coach Terry Jones, and really enjoyed setting up on that stage with someone that was a pioneer at the University of Alabama that was really a part of one of the greatest decades in the history of Alabama football. But this year, going to be myself interviewing Coach Nate Oates, and then right into Cedric Burns. And then John Hannah is going to get up, and he's going to be able to present some things. And I've talked with John. John is a guy that is a very faithful Christian. He's got a lot of things on his mind. So it's a men's group, just like we've done in the past, and we're going to challenge each other to live more spiritually. But if you get a chance, that is always an option. Let me tell you the best way to get tickets. You can get tickets a couple different ways, but if you're looking for table sponsorships, once again, David Harden, that's Brian Harden's brother, or Brian is David's brother, however you want to say. David's the older one, but you can call him at 205-454-7088, 205-454-7088. You can get tickets that way. But if you're out there and you want to be a sponsor of a table, that's a great opportunity. So we'll talk tomorrow with a little bit more about with David, and he can kind of present some of the facts around this. But Cedric Burns, Nate Oates, John Hannah, that's a pretty Hall of Fame lineup, and I know they're proud of that. So it's coming up on August of 26th. August of 26th. So that week right there is going to be super, super busy. But once again, the Pigskin Kickoff that last year featured Terry Jones and Reese Davis. We'll have John Hannah, Nate Oates, and Cedric Burns. And Cedric is an awesome storyteller because he can connect you with Coach Bryant. He can connect you with Coach Stallings and all of the great coaches that he has worked for. And what a friend to not only people, but the University of Alabama. He's been very loyal to them and continues to be. I mean, can still in a lot of those roles, and currently University of Alabama Athletics Relations Coordinator with Nick Saban. So that will be one of the things that we'll dive into, and we'll talk a lot about the way that he spends his days working for the University of Alabama. He's got, I was with him at lunch today, and there's two phones sitting there. They're both just buzzing because people are calling him to facilitate different things. So he's been a friend of the University of Alabama, continues to be. So we'll have Cedric Burns and then also John Hannah and Nate Oates. We're going to dive into a little Alabama Crimson Tide football. Rodney Orr is going to be a part of our show. We're going to talk about some things and really going to talk about receiving. Now, if you did not get a chance to get a part of the receiving side of things, my, look at who the cat just brought in. Marquise Munson walking in. Marquise Munson, how are you? Good to see you. Marquise Munson. I got that text. I didn't realize it was going to be today, but it's good to see you. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa.
Just got to surprise you.
Okay.
Surprise.
Okay. We're still doing lunch tomorrow, though, right? We're still doing lunch tomorrow.
Dreamland barbecue, baby.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I might take you somewhere better than Dreamland. I mean, you never know. I mean, we've taken another step in the right direction. I mean, Marquise, this is we're no longer a Crystal hamburger type thing. We've taken a big step. Our budget's a little bit better. So
you're getting a little fancy on me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got to impress you because you're from Nashville. Marquise Munson produced this program for a long, long time. Many people out there know him, so we might get his thoughts on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I thought about yanking you over to practice. And see if my eyes are misleading me or they're not, because this looks like a really good football team.
I did see pictures of practice starting, and I thought about going. I just,
you're still in the media business. You're working up in Nashville. I don't know if
I could have got a fake credential from somewhere.
I think we could have got you in. Listen, I see some of those folks out there that I don't know. Maybe most of them, 99%, but I see a few. Listen. You actually work for a radio station, a broadcast radio station in a huge market up in Nashville, Tennessee. Marquise, it's good to see you. We are going to talk with Rodney Orr coming up in a couple of minutes. Brad Powers is going to be a part of our show. We'll talk with him. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyland Boulevard. We are 23 days away, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. We're going to dive into a lot of different things. We're going to talk some Alabama Crimson Tide football. We got tons of audio from Nick Sheridan, Kane Womack, then also Kalen DeBoer. We'll dive into it coming up in a couple of minutes. But the world of college football, get ready. The Alabama Crimson Tide is not going anywhere. I'm going to ask Rodney Orr, when you look at this Alabama football team, 1 week in, what have we learned about this football team? We'll ask Rodney Orr next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Eastbound interstate traffic has been a nightmare all day after a fiery early morning truck crash in West Tuscaloosa County. Crews were still trying to get I-2059 reopened as of noon. AlDOT is also set to begin a 5-week nighttime painting project on a bridge over the interstate near Skyland Elementary School tonight. Finally, the Tuscaloosa Farmers Market has pulled off a three-peat and been named the best in the state for the third year running. For the details on these stories and more, get connected at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters.
With only 43 seconds remaining, facing a 4th and goal from the 31-yard line at Jordan-Hare Stadium, quarterback Jalen Milroe finds himself under immense pressure, scrambling to connect with Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone for a miraculous come-from-behind victory over Auburn. The jaw-dropping 27-24 result came on the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Daniel Moore is proud to announce 4th and 31, his upcoming oil painting featuring the now famous Gravedigger play. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for limited edition fine art prints and canvases of 4th and 31. See the preliminary pencil sketch for the artist's full color painting at danielmooreart.com. Pre-order
DEAL or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Blue Spring Living Water is located in Bluntsville, Alabama, Blount County, about an hour north of Birmingham. Blue Spring Living Water is harvested and bottled from a centuries-old natural spring on a private family farm. Blue Spring is an all-natural water source that flows just under 1 million gallons a day. They have partnered with Waterway of Alabama, and they've been in the water delivery business for over 30 years. To have Blue Spring Living Water delivered right to your home, right to your front door every month. New customers get their 5 jugs for $50, and the empties are exchanged every month for new ones. I know we have it at the Fowler household. We drink more water because of BlueSpringLivingWater.com. You can sign up at 205-602-3426. Talk to someone directly. Blue Spring Living Water can also be found Mark Smart downtown.
Make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 92. And on Saturday, mostly sunny and not as humid, the high close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
You know, yesterday we were at practice, and this song was blasting on the speaker system, and we were having a chance to watch quarterbacks and wide receivers and all of the above. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We had Nick Sheridan yesterday, Kane Womack on Tuesday, and then also Kalen DeBoer on Sunday. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about the impressions that Rodney shared on his website, TiderInsider.com. He's part of TITV, WVUA. Each Tuesday, 6:30 and 10:30 on the replay. Hey, Rodney Orr, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Ryan, doing well. How about you?
Yeah, good. It's a great day. And, I kind of missed not going to practice the day. I mean, I was going – because when we had like 6 practices in a row, and then today we've taken a break as far as they're practicing, but no media availability. But I didn't know what to do with myself. I guess I can get accustomed to the morning practices.
Yeah. Our day would already be over. Well, not yours. You have the radio show. Of course, I have things to do also. But, getting out of there, I don't know what to do getting out of there by noon, you know?
Me too. It's weird. It's weird. But it's good. I'm sure they're probably liking it as well. I mean, from a coaching perspective, players probably have enjoyed it. But, Rodney, I want to go in first week into practice. If I said summarize what you've seen in this first week, give me just some things that maybe you've picked up on.
I think covering this, going on 30 years, going into these practices, you really pick up on things. You kind of see things through the years that kind of tip you off. And I remember in the spring of 1999 just how intense those practices were. And I remember, in the fall, the intensity carried over. And that team ended up winning the SEC championship, Mike Dubose, of course. And I remember 2011 walking in there just being like totally blown away. Well, you could see 09 too. So let me say this. Go back to 09. Walked in there, and I'm like, this team's ready. It's on a mission. They had lost to Florida the year before, of course, and that was kind of the mission, was to get another shot at Florida. And you remember what happened. I promise you, I remember walking in there in 2010 and the very next year, and I said, this vibe's just not the same. There were a few guys I noticed that were a little heavier, didn't quite look like they had that same focus, I mean, and I remember that, it kind of struck me. Then 11, I walked out there and I said, man, that's an NFL training camp. Just kind of trying to give you an idea of through the years. And, when I walk in and I've seen this team, I've just looked at a team that I say, wow, physically, David Ballou and his staff have done an incredible job, and I'm sure the nutrition staff is a big part of that too. They've done a fantastic job of developing these players from the spring till now. I mean, this is a good-looking football team on the hoof physically. I don't know how that translates. You still got the same questions at the corner. You've got to settle your right tackle spot. There's issues, there's questions, there's experience factor, and all of those things that we just can't predict. But I mean, when you look physically at this football team, I think it's a really, really great-looking team. I said that yesterday on TiderandSutter.com. I could probably go back to the 2015, 16, 17 teams. This kind of resembles more just physically the kind of shape and condition they were in than maybe some of the more recent ones. Now, remember, 2020, we were shut out due to COVID, so I didn't see that team in camp. None of us did. So just on the hoof, as my report is titled, that I do every day after practice, I think this is an exceptional-looking football team.
I do as well, and I think there's some things that I want to get through this first scrimmage, and we're going to talk about that, kind of preview some things. But when you look at the wide receivers, that has been the focus the last couple of days. We're now a week into practice. We're seeing Ryan Williams take some steps. Now, we understand that he should be still in high school, but he's a freshman. When you look at it, how has the first week changed your expectations, or have they changed your expectations of Ryan Williams?
Oh, Ryan specifically? No, not really.
Okay.
Just being able to see him, I would say it kind of confirmed a lot of the things that we'd heard and we saw of him in high school. I look at him and, people say, well, what do you see about this guy? What do you see out there? And to me, and again, I'm not saying he's going to have this kind of career or how he's going to pan out. You never know. But when I watch him, and people like comparisons, whether they're good or not, that's or fair or not, but he looks like Devontae Smith to me. I mean, he's got the same kind of build. He's extraordinarily fluid, just seems to track the ball so extremely well. And the way he can adjust his body, he can go up in the air and he can turn his body in the air and make catches behind his head, basically, with his arms. I mean, the way he can just kind of tweak his body or torque his body around is pretty amazing. To me. So I see all of those things and the way he catches the ball, and, he's got all the speed and the quickness and the elusiveness and all of those things. So when I look at him, I just say, wow, he reminds me of Devontae Smith, got a similar build and all of that. And so, Ryan, I think, is everything people, have kind of built him up to be. But the good news is, the good things that I hear too are that Ryan doesn't really think like that. He's focused on getting better, working hard. There's no ego there. It's, and his teammates really like him. He's meshed with them really, really well, and he's very coachable. So I think all of those things are positives.
Rodney, when you look at the defensive side of the football, from what you've heard, they also may be another step ahead. Maybe Keon Sabb has been able to anchor that back into that secondary along with Malachi Moore. And we were talking with Jackson yesterday, or I think maybe it was the day before, you look at him, he's got leadership skills. And I think that's one of the reasons why they walked him in the media room. They trust him in a short amount of time. He looks like he's grasped a lot of the defense that they're trying to work him and be a part of.
Yeah, big pickup. Obviously losing Caleb Downs to be able to get a guy that down the stretch last year from Michigan, he became a really valuable player for them. He was highly recruited and everything, but he really started down the stretch of their national championship run, started contributing in big ways, and I think they thought this year he was going to blossom into a great star for them, and so they felt like it was a big loss, him coming to Alabama. And I think you look at Malachi Moore, and sometimes I think Malachi probably doesn't get the pub that he deserves, or however you want to phrase it, because, again, he was incredible his freshman year. And then he had a couple of years where he was never quite the same with injuries and stuff like that. Thought he was last year he bounced back, and I think he's really looking to finish with a bang. So he and Malachi Moore back there are really huge. Of course, depth, you certainly don't want any injuries back there because that could be really difficult. And, the corners, we've talked about them. Damani Jackson seems to be having a good camp, kind of carrying over from the spring. And same with the freshmen, especially it seems like Zabian Brown continues to get great mention. Jalen Mbakwe's taking a big step. Zay Mincy's extraordinarily gifted. Deshaun Jones, the transfer from Wake Forest, who wasn't here in the spring, he is, he's looked really good. So that gives you 5 guys back there that I think they feel really good about. We've talked about the star position or the Husky position. I noticed Devontae Smith the day or two ago. He really looks good physically. He's worked hard. He's gotten bigger. He's thicker. Looks like a really physical player. And then also, I think the true freshman caught my attention pretty strongly the other day. Red Morgan. He had a great spring, but I look at him and watched him doing some stuff. They were working on some zone stuff, and he just seemed to always be in position and was always in the right position to make a play on the ball. So I'm really. Again, it's the inexperience factor. Ron, that's the big key is the inexperience factor. But I'll say one more thing. You asked about the receivers. There's a lot of position groups, and I watch them, that this strikes me as a team that's really focused. There is a great vibe out there, and I think there's a lot of hungry players. I think a lot of those receivers, they're getting well coached by Jamarcus Shepard. I think they feel like they've got something to prove. I think Kendrick Law, some of these other guys that they have, Kobe Prentice, I think all of these guys are waiting to kind of show what they can do. And the same thing I would say in a lot of these secondary spots that you've asked about, but in other position groups. I think this is a team that's got a lot of focus.
Rodney, when I ask you and I say who's going to lead this receiver room, because there's so many different choices, where would you go? Because I asked the audience yesterday to kind of jump in, and we'll do this again today because we did it for yesterday and we could not get everybody in. I mean, the phone lines were literally jammed up, and we were talking about the receiver, who's going to lead this team. If I said Rodney Orr, who's going to lead this team in receiving yards, not receptions, not touchdowns, who's going to be that receiver? Is it Jeremy Bernard? Is it Kendrick Law? Is it Ryan Williams, or is it someone else?
Man, I think it's going to be somebody different every game, and who ends up the most, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Jeremy Bernard, I mean, yeah.
He was impressive yesterday, was he not? I mean, you and I were right around him listening to him. It was pretty solid.
Yeah, I thought he handled everything extremely well. But Jeremy Bernard, Kobe Prentice, like you said, and Ryan Williams and so forth, Kendrick Law. I mean, I think all of those guys, I think there's going to be more guys involved. Caleb Odom brings something different at 6'5". I just think I'm excited because this group is well coached. I know this group is you're going to see some things some nuances. They've been learning a lot. I think they've learned a lot of little nuances to being receivers and getting separation and getting off the line of scrimmage in different ways that is helpful, to them running their routes. And I think there's a lot of little things that they're being taught that Jamarcus Shepard's going to kind of elevate their play. So I'm excited about them, and I think the offensive line, they're lighter on their feet. You look at Caden Proctor; he's obviously lost weight. Seems to have as I watch him, just his body language seems to be better this year. He's constantly moving. So I think probably all the things he went through, the experiences that he went through, transferring, coming back, probably, there's a maturity factor there.
Rodney, when you look at this team 7 days in, when you look at the scrimmage, what are you? Because what are we wanting to find out? I mean, what are you wanting to hear about? I mean, we'll have a chance to not go to the practice. We'll have a chance to go to fan day, but from a scrimmage, we're not allowed in there. There'll be some folks in there, and I'm sure you'll be working your sources like everybody else will. But when you look at this, what do you want to hear from this scrimmage? What are you focused in on?
Yeah, well, as positive as this first. How long we've been on here? About 10 minutes or whatever?
11 minutes and 39 seconds.
Okay, as positive as that's been, believe it or not, there are question marks about this team. There certainly are. We talked about some of them. The inexperience in the secondary. I want to know, what are these corners? How do they hold up in this scrimmage? Specifically who? I want to know about the edge rushers. What kind of pass rush did they get? How did the offensive tackles on the flip side of that protect? Does Caden Proctor look like he's kind of taking that step as protecting that backside? What about, the right tackle? Is it Wilkin Formby? Is it Elijah Pritchett? Are they alternating? Has Pritchett improved as a pass blocker? He had a lot of kind of issues with that at times, when not just when he played, but last spring or the, certainly the spring before. That's kind of been something he's kind of had to be a work in progress in terms of improving. Those are some question marks. I really want to see, the offensive line, the secondary, and just overall. What about the wide receivers? Where are we seeing improvement? How are the quarterbacks? Are they getting the ball out of their hands quickly to the right guy? Do they seem comfortable? There's just a lot of little things that I think you want to know about with this team, because again, we've talked a lot of positive things, but there's certainly some question marks about this team, and hopefully, we'll hear some really positive things Saturday afternoon.
Going to be a lot of fun, and another chance to get to know this coaching staff. And I know that a lot of people will be making it down for Fan Day, and a chance to go out and get some autographs and get a chance to experience that. And we don't know exactly a lot of details. We just know that it's called practice, and I'm sure we'll have it covered there at TiderInsider.com, and we'll have Kalen DeBoer following scrimmage number 1 on the campus of the University of Alabama. Rodney, I always appreciate you. Anything on the recruiting front that grabs you? I know Lockett went to Texas. I don't know if that was a surprise, but I think you've kind of said that.
really wasn't. Khalil Lockett, the wide receiver, 5-star out of the state of Texas, picking Texas. Still waiting on A.K. Deere, the running back out of Mississippi. It's supposed to happen sometime this month. And I still feel really good about Alabama. But, and there's been a lot of talk, of course, Ryan, about the in-state recruiting, as you know, and people have kind of made a big narrative out of that Alabama's getting wiped out in the state, but it's really, and Auburn's done a nice job, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of a misleading narrative there, if you ask me. Because I think Alabama has evaluated players. They've pursued players in the state that they want. They've gotten some of those guys. There's a couple that they would probably like to have. Obviously, Naeem Offord, the cornerback out of Parker, who's committed to Ohio State. You'd love to have him. He's a 5-star. He's one of the top corners in the country, so you'd certainly like to have him. And then I think they would like to get Derek Smith back, flip Derek Smith, who just flipped from Alabama over to Auburn. But other than that, I think Alabama's probably done as what they've wanted to do for the most part in the state this year. That's not saying that Auburn getting those guys is not done a good job, or that those guys aren't good players. Just, Alabama's got some different evaluations, and they're going after players that fit what they want. So I don't really buy into the in-state narrative right now. I think that both teams are doing what they want to do.
And I think the other part is when you look at this offense is if it is as explosive and the way that they feature players, recruiting is not going to be a problem.
That's a great point, Ryan. But it's not signing day. It's not signing day until early December. So if this season, if it kind of unfolds and you see what Kalen DeBoer's offense can do, you see how they're playing as a team, I do think that there is a really good chance you're probably going to have several players, several prospects, maybe even from around the country, probably committed to other schools saying, hey, I want to take a second look at Alabama if they have some room for me. I certainly think that could be a very strong possibility.
Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com, TiderInsider.com, TITVWVUA each Tuesday, 6:30, 10:30 on the replay. It's archived, TiderInsider.com. And even though we're 1 week into camp, this Alabama football team looks like they're going to be making a run at this thing. A lot of coverage, not just in camp, but also throughout the season. TiderInsider.com, the instant membership access that you have at TiderInsider.com. Become a part of that huge community of Alabama Crimson Tide fans. And I know they'll have this scrimmage covered wall to wall. You can almost follow play-by-play somehow, some way. They are able to get a lot of great information. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. Rodney, I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Ryan, I appreciate it. You take care.
Thank you. Rodney Orr, TiderInsider.com. We're going to continue. We're going to take your phone calls. We'll go back to this receiver side of things, but that's a secondary topic. You're welcome to get in that. We did a little contest where get your name in the grand prize package initially. We'll take your phone calls. We'll talk to Brad Powers coming up at 4 o'clock. We don't have another guest until then, but we're going to react to a lot of different things. I mean, there is so many different things out here in the world of college football. And at this point, you're starting to see some calculation of going, hold on, whoa. This Alabama team, everybody kind of said, okay, 8-9 wins. Come on. I mean, let's not be on the low end of that. What could go wrong for Alabama? We'll talk about it coming up next. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Love it. Or return it for free with Lume's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER, to save 15% today.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship.
Rumsey Environmental, it's a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. When you have to know it's being done right, that is the time to call. Rumsey Environmental, 205-248-0002. But let's go back to what Rodney, and Rodney says, listen, I'm being very, very positive. There are some questions, right? I think really when you look at it, that corner spot is we're still watching, right? We're still watching. We're trying to see, okay, what role is that Husky role? Who's going to be in that guy? And I listened to Jeremy Bernard yesterday talking about multiple different players. But this first scrimmage, and sometimes you kind of take the training wheels off, right? It's, okay, you've got coaching instruction. Now you're able to go, okay, put these 8-9 days in a combination and tell us what you've been able to learn. Tell us what you've been able to absorb. And we'll do that here. But I also look and I say, well, what could prevent this Alabama team from accomplishing big things? Injuries. But I think you could probably go around the country and you could say, well, Texas, and I know they just lost their starting running back just here. You could go through a lot of different teams trying to survive that. If they had an injury at a couple different spots, I think they'd be in trouble. Left tackle, probably right there. If you had something, with Caden Proctor where he had to miss a little bit of time, you'd be in trouble. Parker Brailsford at center, you just cannot. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of wiggle room there. Yeah, you've got some guys that can play that role, but can they be as efficient? No, I don't think so. Then when you look at safety, hopefully you can keep those guys, healthy. Malachi Moore, has battled some injuries in the past. Looks like he's ready to go. You feel like this Alabama football team, from a standpoint, and maybe we don't talk enough about the specialists, because that is another part of this team that you should be super excited about trying to, look at this Alabama football team. But you also look at this punter. Is going to be solid with James Burnham, but then also Graham Nicholson is going to be another one there. Also, let me kind of present this to you, and I'm trying to be cautious because I don't want to amp this up so much that it just explodes with this. But I know a lot of people have seen the catch from Ryan Williams, the amazing catch over Zabian Brown. I'd also like to point out that is not an outlier. Did you hear me? It's not an outlier. That's not a one-time deal. Those are the type of catches that he's making in practice on a consistent basis. So when you look at the freshman, hey, listen, Ryan Williams, there's a reason why so many people yesterday picked Ryan Williams, because it sounded like you guys got some sources too. But if you look at Ryan Williams, I don't think you're going to be able to keep him out of the statistic column. He's showing out. Now, the pads came on yesterday. they continue, and we'll talk about it. Let's continue with phone calls. We'll go to Wayne in Northport. Wayne, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
How you doing, Ryan?
Man, I'm having a great day. I'm trying to warn myself not to get extended on my prediction. I want to get through this scrimmage, but Wayne, it's hard not to be excited about this football team. I mean, like, I'm trying to be somewhat cautious about it, but every time I go to practice, every time I get a report from behind the scenes, there's a reason people are excited in Tuscaloosa about this team. I think they've got a chance to be a special football team.
I think they do as well. I've seen some practice video on TV, and these guys look like they're in outstanding shape.
That may be the thing that we have not spent enough time with David Ballou. I mean, he has got, just take the Austin Mack of being able to put on 12 to 13 pounds of muscle. He's not the same player that we saw in the spring. Because, in the spring, he looked small at his size. Not anymore.
Yeah, I'm surprised we were able to keep all of these quarterbacks. It really shocked me. I thought some of them, other than Jalen, would decide not to stick around, but must tell you this coaching staff did an excellent job of getting them all to stick around. And, I think with the 17 games or 16 games, whatever it's going to be, if you make a run at a national title, I think you're going to need more than one quarterback. Because I don't think, you look at an NFL season, I've seen some NFL seasons where a quarter of the quarterbacks in the league get hurt. I've seen that happen. And that's possible over that many games.
What's the NFL, Wayne? How many times do you see the NFL, the quarterbacks?
Yes.
You better have a backup, because I think college football has now got closer to the way the NFL does it, and you better have some depth at quarterback, because we're going to see a team that gets down to the end, and they're either going to lose a quarterback or they're going to be in a position where they need to go to a backup. And you'd never want an injury to happen to any player, but a quarterback is so vulnerable with the injuries.
Yeah, that's why I look at a team like Texas. They've got Quinn Ewers, but if something happens to him, they've got an Arch Manning. And from what I hear, we've got 2 or 3 quarterbacks behind Jalen Milroe that can all get the job done. So that's a luxury to me.
Yeah, when I go to practice and I look at the quarterbacks and I think about, chaos in college football, and I don't know what else could make it more chaotic, but adding trades to it, right? You could add, I never would have happened, but I think about, teams that need a quarterback. And I'm looking at 4 guys that are very capable of running this offense. I know inside the building, they're very confident with Dylan Lonergan and Austin Mack. Now, I'm not saying that he could be as efficient as Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson, but they've got some confidence behind these 2 guys. And I think that's why you saw them. You mentioned this as your opening comment. That's why you saw them stay in Tuscaloosa. You saw them choose to stay here because they believe that they're better here training under this offense and sitting on the bench and understanding when Milroe departs for the NFL, hopefully after this season, then they've got a chance to compete.
Yes, and Jeremy Bernard really impressed me yesterday with that clip he played where he thinks this offense can average 40 points a game. If we average 40 a game, we're going to win a lot of games.
Sounds like you're close to going out on that limb, Wayne. You want me to push you, or you want me to back off and pull you back? And
I think we can do it this year. I really do, but it's going to take injury luck. That's the only thing.
Well, and the other part is I want to see the rest of the fan bases melt down.
Oh, yeah. Priceless.
I would love for Alabama to beat Georgia for a couple of different reasons, but part of it is I'd love to see them melt down. This Alabama thorn that's been in their side for so long, they just can't get rid of us. It's like, oh, man, because think about it. It started even prior to Kirby Smart. You go back 2012. If Aaron Murray able to make that touchdown, then they probably beat us, and they go to win the national title. Instead, what do? We go play Notre Dame and win the national title. So we've done it even prior to Kirby. We've been that roadblock for the Dogs.
I think if you go all the way back to 2007, I think they're like 2-9 against Alabama. And one of those was here in Tuscaloosa in 2007 when we only won 7 games.
Yeah, good
Matt
point.
Stafford came in here and got a last-minute touchdown, and we lost the game. Matt Stafford turned out okay, though, so I don't think that's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Good point.
We'll see you, Ryan.
Hey,
And
Wayne, real quick. We're doing a little prediction here, and we're doing receivers. Who is going to lead this Alabama team in receiving yards? Who is going to lead this Alabama team in receiving yards?
I'm going to go with Jeremy Bernard because he knows the system more than some of these other guys. And I'm going to say he's going to wind up with, I'm going to say 1,100 yards.
Okay, so Jeremy Bernard. Let me make sure that nobody has that because we're now getting into some. We did have 1,100, but that was Kendrick Law was our final caller. Wayne, I got you down, man. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
Okay, you too, man. Have a good day. Roll Tide.
Hey, right back to you. We'll talk to Brad Powers coming up at 4 o'clock. We'll take phone calls. Until then, I've got some audio that I want to go back to. And we're going to do this with Jeremy Bernard. What Wayne just pointed out, we'll do that coming up next. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Big Mike's downtown Moundville, only about 15 minutes from where I'm located. Also in Gunnersville, Alabama, Thomasville, Andalusia, Auburn, Alabama, Orange Beach. You'll find one of the best steaks in the state of Alabama, voted by the Alabama Cattlemen's Association and many other great publications recognizing the great ribeye, the seafood entrees. You'll find those. The great service.
No matter how high the mercury rises, call Aux Home Services today at 205-979-0946 or visit auxhomeservices.com.
Blue Spring Living Water is located in Bluntsville, Alabama, Blount County, about an hour north of Birmingham. Blue Spring Living Water is harvested and bottled from a centuries-old natural spring on a private family farm. Blue Spring is an all-natural water source that flows just under 1 million gallons a day. They have partnered with Waterway of Alabama, and they've been in the water delivery business for over 30 years to have Blue Spring Living Water delivered right to your home, right to your front door every month. New customers get their 5 jugs for $50, and the empties are exchanged every month for new ones. I know we have it at the Fowler household. We drink more water because of BlueSpringLivingWater.com. You can sign up at 205-602-3426. Talk to someone directly. Blue Spring Living Water can also be found. Mark Smart.
But if you really want to know what it's like to run with us, you just have to get in the seat. Learn more at johndeere.com/get-in-the-seat or visit a dealer near you.
Pat's Florist and Gourmet Baskets in downtown Tuscaloosa, 1010 Queen City Avenue. For over 60 years, they've been serving our community. They specialize in a large inventory of fresh flowers, weddings, gourmet fruit baskets. If you're trying to lift someone's spirits, it is Pat's Florist Gourmet Baskets by calling 205-345-5093. Delivery options are available, but it's more than just flowers at Pat's Florist and Gourmet Baskets, 1010 Queen City Avenue.
Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
The longest running sports.
Mama, take me home, country road.
I guess this would be Nick Saban's theme song. I think so. I think John Denver would be a perfect opportunity. We'll talk to Brad Powers coming up in 1 hour. I saw On 3 putting Alabama in the college football playoffs. The way they've got it lined up, I think it's solid. And this is just one individual, Jesse Simonton. He put up, this is the teams, right? The 4 teams that got a bye. Georgia, okay. Ohio State, seems like an automatic. Then he puts Utah in there as a bye team. And then he also puts Florida State as one of the 4 teams that are buying a bye. And then when you look at the teams that are earning their way, he would have it at Alabama matched up against Notre Dame. So in that field, Alabama would be hosting the game, I would assume. mean, could you guys imagine that for just a minute? How crazy would that be? Notre Dame coming to the University of Alabama to play a playoff game. That even sounds fun in December. Come on, bring it here. Right before Christmas, when all of us are gathering around. I'd love to be one of those 4 teams because I think that's where your champ's going to come from. But hosting a playoff game? Okay, you got me. Robert in Mobile, I apologize for being so negative towards the college football playoff, expanding from 4 to 12. And then when you look at from there 8-9, they got Ole Miss and the Michigan Wolverines. You know, that'd be huge for Michigan, replacing Jim Harbaugh, and now to be able to segue into that. Hey, to put them in the playoffs, be a big step. They've got Oregon and the Missouri Tigers at the 6 at 11, and then the mid-major they've got Boise State. So they got Texas at 5 and Boise State. So nice college football, the world of college football. But how do you survive this? Because then you trickle down to the quarterfinals and then the semifinals and the national championship game. So, you know, if you look at the SEC title game, if Alabama is able to win that or able to lose that, would they be the second highest? Yeah, they would be. Is that right? So they got 4 teams from the SEC. You've got Georgia, right? Alabama's the second highest. Then you've got Texas. Actually, they've got 5, right? Don't they have 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 teams from the SEC. I think that's a stretch. I don't think you're going to see 5 teams from the SEC. I mean, could you make an argument? Sure. That's a really big. They've got the Missouri Tigers, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. That's a big number. Either way, college football playoffs, something that we're all having to adjust to. Marty, Arkansas, have you been?
I've been doing fine, Ryan, sitting on the Mississippi River watching the tide come in.
Ooh, okay. Sounds like a pretty good afternoon. Are you in?
It was a good day. I ate with my friend Alabama girls, and we talked Alabama football, and they knocked around some Tennessee girls that they went to school with.
So here's the question,
Ryan: Are you on board? Because I've been on board, and I've been trying to reel you back in.
What do you mean?
You think we're gonna, Ryan? We're 7-1 odd makers to win it right now.
7-1.
I don't know. 7-1. There ain't no way. And Ryan, go through all those teams and knock out 2 that you don't think that's going to be there. I'm gonna do that tonight, and I'll tell you tomorrow the 2 that I don't think. I don't think Georgia's going to be there. I just don't think so. I think they lose that first game. They come to Alabama and lose, and then the wheels are going to fall off.
Tell you what, Marty, it would be a total collapse if Georgia's not a part of the playoffs. I almost see it as an automatic.
All right. You know, we won it in 2009. We got just undefeated. Then we had all those players back, went to South Carolina, overcome Guinness, got killed by LSU, and let the cheaters beat us in our stadium.
Okay.
And lost 3 games to one of the best teams that never should have lost 3 games. So it can happen, Ryan, and they're overconfident. They're out there in their Mercedes-Benz and their GTOs racing down Peach Street 100 miles an hour and all that. They're not even thinking about going to football practice. That's why I think. All right, come on, Ryan, give me your question.
Okay, well, no. I mean, I look at this Alabama football team. I do think they've got a chance to be special, but I also think it's so hard to predict a national title because of the. It's almost going to be survival.
Where they play, because of the unexperienced. Hey, they played the recruits he getting. They played at the best high schools against the best people. They're SEC ready as freshmen. That's why he's getting his own people and out of California. They played against the best. And that's why we're going to do it. What's the length? Look at the length. When you go look at that secondary, look at their length. When they put their hands across straight out, that's where they're going to make the difference this year. And their length, and they're going to have more than 10 interceptions this year, Ryan. That's what we need to do. How many interceptions and all this, and we go down like that. But I think they get more than 10. How many sacks? I don't know. I have to wait on that a little bit. But, Ryan, they're going to average 46 points a game, and they ain't going to give up no more than 17 points a game.
Ooh, I don't know. Come on, Marty. I mean, it's college football, man. 17 points.
I know it's college football, but, hey, when you're putting up that many and you're running it, you only get, how many times they're going to have it. And the punter, we got the best punter and the best field goal kicker. What we need to find Arenas as a kickoff returner. As a punt returner, because you look at that time. Every time Arenas got the football, he brought it back to the 50. All we had to do was gain 10 yards. Boom, we kicked the field goal. We're ahead 3-0. He always cut the field in half. 2 plays, we were down near the goal line. And that's, if we can find Arenas at the running back, we're going to start out as a punt returner. We'll start out at the 50. And in this offense, it won't take us long to score. That's my theory. And I know I'm drinking. You say, Marty, you must have made that Mississippi water turn red today. But no, I just believe this team, like what the guy, was that Mark Houston? I don't know who that was that you talked first that said he's gone out there for 40 years. This team's got a chip on his shoulder.
It was Rodney Orr.
Rodney Orr. This team's got a chip on their shoulder. They know they were close. The board didn't come here to play second fiddle and play dominoes and tiddlywinks. He come here to put up, put more national championships and add on to the museum.
I think you're right. Hey, give me a stat. Who is going to lead this team in receivers?
I'm going to take Law. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Kevin Law?
No, Kendrick Law.
Kendrick Law. And I'll go 1,150 yards.
Go a little bit higher than that. We've already got 1,150. We've already got 1,150 on Kendrick Law. You can either go higher or lower.
I'm going to go, man, he got so many receivers. I'm going to go, how about?
You can still take Kendrick Law. You just got to adjust your numbers just a little bit.
1,020 then.
Okay, 1,020.
The only reason I don't know, like you said, there's so many, there's so many out there. The ones that are going to win is the ones that turn the 3-yard or his little 5-yard hitch into a 90-yard touchdown.
Got it. Well, thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, Marty. I thank you, man, for being a part.
I will.
I got to run.
Tomorrow.
I got to run.
Tomorrow's. All right, Brian, I'll yell at you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we'll do a Brian Hard Construction Free-for-All Friday. We're going to continue with more of the game. Jeremy Bernard, we're going to play that clip coming up in the next segment right here on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Beyer.
Men's basketball semifinal in the Olympic Games of the Americans. Right now getting all they can handle and more from Serbia. Serbia is up on the U.S. 47-35, just over 3 minutes to go until halftime. France awaits the winner of this game in the gold medal contest after the French dropped Germany 73-69 in the other semifinal. Elsewhere at the Olympic Games, American Noah Lyles won bronze in the 200 meters, falling short of his goal of winning double golds in the 100 and 200 meters. It was revealed after the fact that Lyles actually tested positive for COVID this week. U.S. women's volleyball team outlasted Brazil in 5 sets to advance to the gold medal match, while American swimmer Katie Ledecky will carry the Americans.
Around Fincher and Osmond to the rescue.
I'm Tom Osmond, your jeweler at Fincher and Osmond Jewelers. Not so easy to find on McFarland, between Edgar's and local routes.
MedCenterUrgentCare.com. We expect the unexpected. Locations in Tuscaloosa, Northport, North River, right there off Rice Mine Road, Fayette, Demopolis, Hoover. The great doctors, urgent care, family medicine, injuries, occupational health, sports physicals. We do expect the unexpected.
For more information, contact us at 205-333-0231 or visit behwater.biz.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 92. And on Saturday, mostly sunny and not as humid, the high close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Everything. She loves to move. She loves to groove. She loves a lot of things. All night, oh, every night. So hold tight, ooh baby, hold tight. Oh, she said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. I was alone, I never knew what good love could do. Then we touched, then we sang about the loving things.
All right, we welcome you right back into the game here in Tuscaloosa. We're going to go to that Jeremy Bernard audio talking about the points. White, I sent that to the DM on the Tide. I'm sure I should have told you that during the break. My apologies. But Jeremy Bernard, one of those guys that issued a big prediction. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyline Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyline Boulevard. If you're looking for a new Tundra, got great interest specials, 1.9, and we're also adding some loyalty cash to that. See the dealer for complete details. If you're looking for the 2025 Camry, yeah, we check that box as well. The Corolla, yes. RAV4, Highlander, you'll find those. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis, also, we are 23 days away from Alabama Crimson Tide football. 23 days away. Tomorrow's a big day, right? 22 days away, but 23 days away. Brought to you by Alabama Credit Union. Reminding us to remind you, we are 23 days away. If you want to get your prediction in, we're doing that today on as far as receiver, but also talking about a variety of different things. We did take quite a bit of phone calls yesterday. Don't feel like you're limiting there. I guess we call that filibustering, but I think it's okay on a day like today if you want to jump in. 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. Let's continue with more phone calls, and we go here to Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. Stephen, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. Roll Tide. How are you today?
Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Good day.
Right.
Good day. Good day. Good day. It's, a little bit closer. You can almost smell college football from here.
Oh, it's not in the air. That's when you, I can't wait for that little bit of cold. That's when you can really feel it.
Yeah, I'm going to look real quick. You're probably going to get a little colder quicker than we are because you're a little higher elevation. But let me look, because I was hearing earlier this week from one of the meteorologists, I believe it could have been James Penn, it could have been Jason Simpson, it could have been Richard Scott for our local. We're at 80-something degrees today. And we were supposed to be I don't think we're going to get there. But there was some in North Alabama that we're going to predict on Sunday evening that we could hit the upper 50s. I don't think it's going to be the case. But we are going to be 66, which will feel, pretty solid.
Ryan, I was in Vanderbilt Stadium one year watching the first game of the year. And I don't even really remember what year that was anymore. But it was at, of course, Alabama. And it was 100 degrees in Nashville. And this was the 1st of September. So usually, down in Alabama in the South, we don't get that nice, cool weather until at least late September, I would say, maybe by the Georgia game. So,
and just like Jeremy Bernard said yesterday, they were asking him about, the temp. I didn't ask that question, but I think it was a really good question. How are you adjusting this from where you were at UW and to where we're at now? He said, it's warm. It's warm. And really, if you think about a morning practice that starts at 9:20, and it gets done about noon, they're still in a hot part of the day, even though, 3:30 and then 5:30 when you're ending. But if you look at it, I don't think there's that big of a difference, right? I mean, if you take the hottest day at noon, Is there really that big a difference between 330? Probably not. Because I thought about
92 versus 95. Ryan is still hot.
It's still hot. Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about what we're hearing some of these players. I've been picking up what these players have been saying, and they've been putting out little clues. Follow the details. Follow the little clues that these guys are saying. You got Jeremy Bernard saying, "Oh, we're going to average 40 plus." You heard that the other day.
Yeah, I've got the audio that I'm going to play here in a couple of seconds.
You got Dupree today saying, "I'm looking forward to getting more touches." The tight end.
Yeah, well, that tight end room, Kalen DeBoer told us how involved they're going to be in this offense, which we already knew that, but he kind of said it.
You got your ice cream guy, you got your milkshake guy over there telling you, I'm just making up who the source is. It's your ice cream guy.
He is.
Telling you that that Ryan Williams is showing up. He's making multiple catches like that, like what we saw today.
Well, and I've switched because no longer are they walking over to Jack's and getting the milkshake. Heck, they're bringing the ice cream truck to the practice facility. So I'm working my way into this ice cream guy. I mean, that's how you find out the information. I mean, when you're sitting there waiting for your popsicle or ice cream sandwich or whatever, you can hear a lot of things. You got to be a good listener.
Right. In 2020, we averaged 48 points a game.
You know how many we averaged last year?
36, maybe? 34. 34. Yeah, 34. When you start doing that, when you start doing 40 plus points a game, Ryan, the yards have to come from somewhere. I said a week or so ago, whenever you took the total yards for Jalen Milroe that day, I think I said 3,900 something yards, and I'm starting to believe it's not. I didn't pick high enough. Definitely didn't pick high enough. When we're seeing $1,100 from one, 1,200 yards from one receiver, and you've got the tight end's going to get the ball more. You got Ryan Williams showing out. You got Kendrick Law. You got Kobe Prentice that are all showing out. And you talk about, you got you just had him on your show. Rodney, you got Rodney Orr talking about the wide receivers learning the nuances of the receiver position that maybe they haven't ever been taught before. I'm here, which is telling me better coaching.
A lot.
Which
better.
we've been saying for 6 months. Coach Saban couldn't do it all.
He could not.
He couldn't do it all, and he couldn't get the coaches that he could get 5 or 6 years ago. The Kirby Smarts and the Steve Sarkisians and the rest of that crew. They're no longer coaching on the sideline with Coach Saban, so he couldn't do it all. And now these players are getting the kind of coaching that's just overall a better coaching brand coming from the different coaches. These yards and points, Ryan, it's getting really exciting. I'll just put it that way.
Well, I mean, when you hear the offense, and I know I did this yesterday with Aaron Torres, but think about where we're going to be out 3 years from now. 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about Kalen DeBoer's offense and Kirby Smart's defense and that matchup. And I think offense wins. I mean, we saw that here in Tuscaloosa. We had a defensive-minded coach who tried to expand the offense, and at times they did. Defense is not going to be neglected, but offense is going to be a priority here. We're making a switch, not just a transition from Kalen DeBoer or from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer. We're watching a very big point of emphasis. I think that's where college football's headed.
Ryan, we might be having that conversation on September 29th, the day after we beat Georgia.
And who does Georgia struggle with? They usually struggle with mobile quarterbacks that can extend the play. How do we know? Because we experienced it as well.
Well, they're a carbon copy of what Coach Saban was here, 5 or 6 years ago. And so that's what we always struggle with. Therefore, that's what they struggle with. Missouri like, there's been several teams that come close to beating Georgia the last few years. Granted, Alabama's the only one that's beat them. But they struggle with those types of offenses, and we're gonna be able to put. And another thing that we're going to be able to do is they don't have film on it. They're going to have some film on us in September. But Ryan, I just don't expect Coach DeVore to show all his cards the first 3 weeks. I don't expect him to have to.
I don't either. I think that's one of the reasons why they probably shut down some of these scrimmages because they didn't want some of the stuff that got out in the spring to get out again. And I know there's a lot of disappointment, but I think if you went to those Red Elephant Club members and you said, hey, would you trade a significant win or a championship over going to scrimmage? Yeah, I probably think they would.
Right. Yeah, it's going to exciting times, Ryan.
It is. But, hey, you got your prediction in yesterday.
Yesterday, yes, I did. I said Bernard, I think 1,259 yards, I believe it was.
Yeah, and Pat's got you by a little bit, but there's been some big yardage. I mean, the only thing that would make me go a little bit lower is to look at the amount of wide receivers that's out there. There's just so many. You're going to have to, like, what was it? Kalen DeBoer on Sunday was asked, how do you keep these guys happy? He kind of giggled and said, well, that's Jamarcus Shepard's responsibility. And he took responsibility, but I mean, he was just kind of joking because there's a lot of dudes out there. We said Nick Sheridan yesterday talked about the wide receiver side of things. So,
then, Ryan, let me ask you a question then. Do you think we'll have a 1,000-yard receiver, or do you think we'll have 4 800-yard receivers?
I think you'll have a 1,000-yard receiver. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But I also think that you're going to have a lot of guys in the 600 to 700 range. Yeah. So maybe
I think we have two.
Can I say both?
I think we have 2,000 yards. I think we have both. I think we have 2,000-yard receivers. But yet, I don't know, Ryan. It's getting so complicated because I've already stated multiple times I think we lead the conference in rushing. So it's making us look like a factory there on offense. So I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore.
Thank you.
Anyhow, Ryan, roll Tide.
Yeah, right back to you. Thank you. Stephen in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll continue with more phone calls. Let's go to Jeremy Bernard talking about this offense. We just talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Stephen brought up this comment. Jeremy Bernard, quick audio clip, only about 14 seconds. I'll leave my question in there. Jeremy Bernard talking about this offense, this side of the ball. Maybe a generic question, but how good can this offense be?
I think this offense is going to put up 40-plus a game, in my opinion.
Okay. You agree with Jeremy Bernard? You think this offense can put up that? We'll take more of your phone calls coming up in a couple of minutes. Brad Powers joins us at 4 o'clock in 40 minutes right here on the game. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Eastbound interstate traffic has been a nightmare all day after a fiery early morning truck crash in West Tuscaloosa County. Crews were still trying to get I-2059 reopened as of noon. AlDOT is also set to begin a 5-week nighttime painting project on a bridge over the interstate near Skyland Elementary School tonight. Finally, the Tuscaloosa Farmers Market has pulled off a three-peat and been named the best in the state for the third year running. For the details on these stories and more, get connected.
Through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Northport Power Equipment, largest inventory Husqvarna dealer in the Southeast. You'll find the Husqvarna models for residential and the professional landscapers, Skag commercial mowers, residential mowers, backpack blowers, handheld blowers, battery-operated tools. The service department at Northport Power.
Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 26 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-2503.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 92. And on Saturday, mostly sunny and not as humid, the high close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 30.
Come on, baby, let's go boosting. Oh, Cadillac Blackjack,
Welcome right back into the game. Let me tell you about The Wharf. If you're looking for a new pair of jeans, Wrangler, Levi Lee, you'll find those. Carhartt clothing, Rocky clothing, Under Armour clothing. You'll find all the jackets. Not that we need jackets in the month of August, but always be prepared. For you talking about work shirts, Western shirts, it is the work and Western wear for the entire family. They're open until 6 p.m. You'll find it on McFarland Boulevard. And right there, the Winn-Dixie is now closed, but El Gran, I think everybody knows where that is. The blue plate, you'll find it right there on the right-hand side of the road as you travel westbound. Since 1976, the Workin' Western headquarters in all the name brands, 60 different brands of boots. Justin, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Georgia, Double H, Timberline, Laredo, and many more. It is The Wharf. Heck, I could have let Tommy and Romulus do the Wharf commercial. I know he loves to shop over there. Tommy, I hope all is well. Welcome into the game in Tuscaloosa.
All is well, and The Wharf is a great place to go. I mean, you're right about that.
Locally owned and operated, which is always a good thing. Always.
Always. You're helping the good people of Tuscaloosa and Northport when you shop locally. Yeah, it's a great thing. Well, I want to thank Caleb DeBoer for one thing.
Okay.
Bringing that nice, cool weather today to Alabama.
Oh, is this the cold summer? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy this nice. You know, they predicted it was going to be over 100 in the last 3 or 4 days.
They did.
And I just hope we can keep it a week, but I know we can't. But I'm thankful that he brought this from Seattle. I mean, I'm glad he got some pull still out there. Can bring us some cooler weather from the great Pacific North. Well, what have we learned today besides you're jealous you don't have a connection with the ice cream truck guy?
I'm working.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad you're working.
Working hard.
Working hard.
Yeah.
You're a professional. I don't want you to become a softie because you know our receiving coach don't like softies.
Yeah, and even though I asked Jeremy Bernard that question, he didn't want to tell me about Freddie Soft, but then after the interview, we discussed a little Freddie Soft.
Well,
he told us it was Freddie Soft. I don't think he's using the word soft in practice, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know. I know exactly.
I think it's Freddie. I think that's his first name, but I don't think Freddie is last name is Soft.
No.
And did Jamarcus Shepard not say Freddie Soft on our show back then? I asked Jeremy Bernard that yesterday, Wyatt, and he said, I've never heard of Freddie Soft. And so then after the interview, I'm like, hey, well, Jamarcus Shepard told us, he goes, yeah, it's a Freddie, but it ain't Freddie Soft. So I think he just cleaned that up for radio, if you know what I mean.
Yes, we always got to be professional on the radio.
Boy, he was
high energy.
Well, Jamarcus Shepard was fired up yesterday. Whew. I mean, it's hard to have a bad day when you go to practice and watch him coach for a few minutes.
Well, I'm loving the enthusiasm. I'm loving them pumping the players up. Seem like the players are responding to that. I mean, we have gone over this several hundred times about last year. Coaching staff. Kevin Steele was shocked when he got the call to come back to Alabama. And I think he was going to probably coach one more year if Alabama didn't call. So he did a great job, but I don't know. He was really fired up to get it going again. You know what I mean? I mean, he didn't have the passion, the desire. He was thinking about going to the beach, drinking peanut coladas, enjoying life, enjoying retirement. So, yeah.
Well, and you talked about your excitement. Could you imagine the excitement that Kalen DeBoer has? Because he's never worked with this much talent.
No. And I'm just loving people ripping this team.
Are they still ripping this team?
Well, the Georgia fans, you hear them on these other little Red Collie International, like, I can't think of his name, used to be the punter for the Colts. I just went, Pat. And just sitting like, well, Alabama just now, they know Georgia number one, and Texas to come in too. Alabama slipping the third, maybe Ole Miss. Alabama's going downhill. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got one question. Last 11 times you played Alabama and Georgia, I think you're 2-9. I I don't think we'd slip it that much. All right? And I think, and this guy was making a comment, well, look at Washington. They don't have no talent. Look at this coming back, and look, they're not in the rate high, all this. I'm like, the man didn't have a freaking 5-star on the Washington team, and he made it to the national championship game. He went 25-3 2 years. The year before, Washington went 4-8. Oh no, that argument is if Taylor DeMoor go 8-4, Alabama will be ready. Fans will not put up because we are so unrealistic. You know, I'm tired of them using that trick. We demand perfection. We know we're not going to get there every year, but when you strive to be the best, you'll be a success in life. You won't be driving down the street at 105 miles per hour every other weekend in Athens, Georgia. All right? I know we have had that problem in the past, but you know what the best part of this season been so far? So far, we haven't got in trouble. We haven't done nothing stupid. We haven't drag raced. We haven't got DUI, and we haven't been fighting with other students, which happened at other schools. I'm very happy.
Fighting? How do you know there's not been fights?
Well, I'm just saying, if Alabama get in a fight, if Alabama jaywalk, it's on the freaking national news at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, but I don't want anybody else to hear this, but they have been a little scrappy at practice.
Well, that's fine. I love scrappy at practice, but I'm talking about when they get all practice, they have free time, them and the student body don't get into it, or
Well,
they do something.
I don't want you to tell anybody. Please don't. But, but they've been a little scrappy.
Well, good.
But that's not a bad thing. I mean,
No.
scrappy can be a good thing.
No, I want competition. I want that singer, that junior tell that 5-star freshman, you think you come and taking my job? Ain't no way, Sonny boy. I'm still the dog here. Come on. I'm the top road elephant. I'm going to hold on my position. I'll take your best shot. That's what I want. I want competition. I want depth. I want team unity. I want a chemistry. I want a oneness. If they scrap a lot in practice, great. Look like the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions, both teams have fined $200-something thousand, near $250,000 for fighting during practices and control scrimmages. And they play tonight. I'm like, what they going to do to each other tonight in a real game or kill each other? I mean, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, boy, they getting after each other.
Gotcha.
I guess people want to keep their starting rotation, and people want to keep their jobs. That is a dog-eat world.
Tommy, I got to run, man. I appreciate you as always. Hope you have a great rest of your afternoon.
All right, man. Take care. Talk to you later.
Right back to you. I do remind you about Nuke's Eatery. If you're looking for a great sandwich, the French dip sandwich, always a great option. The Nuke's Q sandwich, a great option. Let's continue with more. 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. It is 205 University Boulevard, 205-758-2455. If you're looking for a French dip sandwich, that is an option. And let's continue with more of the game. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
On the next Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson.
Tune in Friday, 7:30. We'll talk to Coach Jack Crow. We'll go through the SEC with Coach Crow. Nobody talks football better than Jack Crow. The second hour, we'll have Coach Sonny Smith. We'll also take your phone calls throughout the show.
Inside the Locker Room, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
El Grant is the great Mexican place in Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Go over and see my friends Carlos, 205-391-4555, 62 McFarland Boulevard, Monday through Thursday, 11 until 9:30, Friday and Saturday, 11 until 10:30, Sunday also open 11 until 9. You'll find the great daily lunch specials. You'll find great entrees, including the great fajitas.
Sniff Solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppable, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
The game with...
Tuscaloosa Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. JR, Coker, Alabama. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game. JR. Okay, I can't hear you. I can hear you like you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you. But let's put you back on hold. Let's go to Wayne and Destin. Wayne, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Ryan.
How are you, man?
It's been a while. Been listening to you every day. Just haven't called in.
Yeah, hey, real quick, coming out of Hoover, Alabama, at a special called meeting of the Hoover City Board of Education, August the 8th, this afternoon, the board has approved the acceptance of the resignation submitted by William Drew Gilmore, which is the head coach, and Adam Helms, which is the defensive coordinator. So Chip King English will jump in as Hoover's head coach. So after some videos have kind of surfaced, I've seen some of them, but I've been really dialed in on Alabama. Really haven't been focused a lot on Hoover high school football, but I know that's a big interest story from our local perspective.
Yeah, I saw the videos. Yeah.
I've seen some of them. I think there's others that I haven't seen, according to White and I were talking about. I need to go back and look at some of those.
I was coached like that. I heard somebody earlier today on Gary Harris' show say, well, you just can't do it. We were treated like that back in the 70s. So it is what, I want to ask you something I got on my mind. We're talking about this offense. You have been there at a lot of these practices. Do you remember the feeling, or how did you feel about, we're 5 years, the 2020 offense? Do you remember watching them? Can you go back in your mind and remember that team and that offense or not?
I can, but my
question is, did you ever think anybody could stop us?
In 2009?
No, in 20.
Oh, in 20.
When we beat Ohio
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. I never went to practice. They had to shut down. I mean, that was that. Yeah. So I mean, you were depending on your eyes, but you were depending on the video that they sent out and the people that you spoke to. So
yeah. But my question, I guess, is because you're watching every game. You love them just like all of us did.
Sure.
I mean, in the early when Nick first got there, we just had a defense. We said, "Ain't nobody gonna score against us." I just remember in 2020 on that offense with Sark's offense, even when we played Ohio State, it didn't matter what they did. We were going to score. They'd score. We go, all right, we're just going to right back down and score again. They can't stop us. That's the kind of offense that we're going to have this year. I'm dying to see. I know you've got to stand up there and watch. I did some research on their route combinations in Washington and watched this NFL coach break them down. And I just wondered, have you got to see more than just? Have you got to see them run the combination patterns?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Listen. There's drills out there that are fun to go. I mean, White and I were out there yesterday morning, and we were in the indoor facility, which allowed us to see a lot more. And the complexity of just watching their route tree. Oh no. I mean, there is so much crossing. And one of the drills. I don't know. Do you follow me on Facebook, Wayne?
I need to. No, I need to though.
Man,
go ahead.
I mean, I feel like I'm disappointed. I mean, you got to hurt my feelings here, Wayne.
No, man. I listen to you every day. I got to get on there.
All right.
You gotta follow
so
me.
I put up some video, and it was really based on the side of things with the way that they're doing the timing patterns, and there was four gigantic red stuffed practice things. I don't even know what you call them. I mean, tackling dummies, but they're bigger than tackling dummies. And so there were four together. Okay, I'm trying to describe the videos I'm watching. Okay, so you got four together, and the wide receivers are coming out, and then they're cutting down the sidelines. So they're working the sideline, but then they've also got these four, big tackling dummies that are like 6.5 foot tall. And in between them, there's probably a yard. And the quarterback is hitting the wide receiver in between certain targets. So he's hitting the wide receiver.
Wow.
So, you need to go and watch this on my Facebook account because, and now let me kind of explain this to you. So you got four of these big, gigantic tackling dummies, and you got them stacked side by side, and the quarterback's on the other side. He's throwing them between these 6'5" tackling stuffed, whatever you want to call them. And then, at the end of that, so the minute they catch the ball, Okay, this is really crazy. They got giant balls. Okay, and I'm talking about like big giant like
yoga balls that you sit
yoga
on.
balls that you would do like setups on, like you would set and okay, and they're rolling them back and forth to make the players jump over them to try to simulate another tackler to like lose their balance. So they're coming through and then they're cutting down the sidelines in their timing pattern, but they're focused on the ball. But then also these gigantic, as he said, yoga balls are just sliding around, like multiple, like 3, 4, boom, boom, boom. And so the players are either jumping over, they're cutting over, they're making a cut. It looks like a very complex drill. So you need to go and watch this video to even understand what we're talking about. But it's kind of fun to go out and practice. So yesterday we kind of got a chance to see that. I mean, that was pretty awesome to see that drill. And then we got a chance to watch the wide receivers line up, and you're, man, to answer your question, I know I went a long way to get there. It's fun practice, man.
No, you're not. No, I know. That's the thing. Watching this breakdown of these combination routes, if you go back and watch Washington, I know they're doing this. This guy was explaining. He said, "Look, they ran the slot. They ran off real quick, just one play. They'd run everybody down. The slot would break in, across the middle. But if the linebacker steps up and blocks him, he turns around and pivots and goes out." And he said these little subtle things. In other words, their routes aren't predetermined. They're not running, and they're going to run that route if they're covered. They're going to change routes. And I did hear one of the coaches say, we teach them to go to where the ball is, which I think is so advanced. You're talking about NFL techniques. This is stuff that we've never done. That's why they're so good at it. You just need to go. If you get a chance, watch when they run those things. Some of the videos are all over the internet, just showing what they did. Now we're not running everything, but that's the combinations that they're running, and you just saw it. That's what I was trying to ask you.
Yeah, there is, and then another drill that they were doing is pretty much lining up their full offense, and that's the first time we have seen that in our media availability, where they lined up every offensive lineman, and you can see how involved the tight ends are going to be. I mean, that tight end room, we talk a lot about the receiver room, but that tight end room's got a chance to also be pretty special too. I mean, C.J. Dupree, I know he talked to the media yesterday. I was over listening to Jeremy Bernard. Spent my 7 minutes listening to him because I thought he was, giving us a lot of good details about this offense and one of the reasons why he came to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Well, one of
the things he said, Jamarcus Shepard. Yeah, Kalen DeBoer is one of the reasons, but one of the reasons why he came here, Jamarcus Shepard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question. Well, let me ask you this. You asking everybody to give a number on wide receivers. I'm going to do a little bit different. Our running backs are going to run. They're going to catch a lot of screens for a lot of yardage.
You really going to go there? You going to go there?
I am. I am. I'm going to say either one of us going to have over 500 yards, 525 yards. You can pick. I don't care either one, Haynes or.
Well, you pick. You pick. It's your contest.
All right, I'll go with Haynes. So 5.25.
Okay, 5.25. Hey, what's the weather like down at the beach, man?
It's hot, but, I heard you talking a minute ago. We've had a north wind since this hurricane. The humidity's down. This water's been flat on the beach all week long, and it's been hot. But the humidity is not as bad as it normally is. It's still sucked out from that hurricane. Just starting to build back today. But we've had just gorgeous days every day. I mean, the north wind, so the dog flies eat you up on the beach on the north wind. So,
cool. Super.
But, excited. Listen to you every day, man. I appreciate it.
Wayne, I appreciate you, man. And hey, you gave me a chance to talk about these receivers because when you go to practice, it's hard not to like what you see. And we'll dive into that. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Thank you. Wayne in Destin, Florida. We've had two Waynes in the first 90 minutes of the show. We're going to continue with more phone calls. Terry in Richmond, Virginia, get ready. We're coming your way. Brad Powers in Las Vegas. We'll talk with him. How Alabama, you're seeing some adjustments in the market. We'll talk about it. Brad Powers coming up in about 15 minutes, and more of your phone calls right here on the Tuscaloosa's longest running sports show. I'm Ryan Fowler. This is The Game on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Rumsey Environmental, a one-stop shop serving West Alabama for all of your waste removal needs. If you're in the construction business, take a little bit of stress out of your life. The construction debris removal containers customized to fit your job site, the portable toilet service, the storage containers to protect your valuables. It's Rumsey Environmental for that complete waste removal service when you have to.
Within 30 miles. And if they don't have what you need, they'll get it. Cypress Supply, 2036 62nd Avenue, Tuscaloosa. Cypress-supply.com.
Blue Spring Living Water is located in Bluntsville, Alabama, Blount County, about an hour north of Birmingham. Blue Spring Living Water is harvested and bottled from a centuries-old natural spring on a private family farm. Blue Spring is an all-natural water source that flows just under 1 million gallons a day. They have partnered with Waterway of Alabama, and they've been in the water delivery business for over 30 years. To have Blue Spring Living Water delivered right to your home, right to your front door every month. New customers get their 5 jugs for $50, and the empties are exchanged every month for new ones. I know we have it at the Fowler household. We drink more water because of BlueSpringLivingWater.com. You can sign up at 205-602-3426. Talk to someone directly. Blue Spring Living Water can also be found Mark's Mark, downtown Northport, Publix, Piggly Wiggly, and in the southern part of our listing area, Rouse's Supermarket. BlueSpringLivingWater.com.
With only 43 seconds remaining, facing a 4th and goal from the 31-yard line at Jordan-Hare Stadium, quarterback Jalen Milroe finds himself under immense pressure, scrambling to connect with Isaiah Bond in the corner of the end zone for a miraculous come-from-behind victory over Auburn. The jaw-dropping 27-24 result came on the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Daniel Moore is proud to announce 4th and 31, his upcoming oil painting featuring the now famous Gravedigger play. New Life Art is now accepting pre-orders for limited edition fine art prints and canvases of 4th and 31. See the preliminary pencil sketch for the artist's full color painting at DanielMooreArt.com. Pre-order your artwork now by calling 1-800-735-2787 or by visiting DanielMooreArt.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 92. And on Saturday, mostly sunny and not as humid, the high close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.
She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation.
And remind you about the Standard Pizza, the home of the 20-inch pizza pie, pepperoni, meat lovers, cheese. Design your own. It is thestandardbama.com, thestandardbama.com, thestandardbama.com. Find a way to connect with those guys if you're looking for a great pizza, wings, boneless wings, cheese sticks, mac and cheese bites. You'll find it at thestandardbama.com, thestandardbama.com. Full-service restaurant, dine-in, or carry-out. The Standard on University Boulevard. Go find those guys. TheStandardBama.com. Also available by DoorDash. Let's go to Terry in Richmond, Virginia. Terry, good afternoon. You're in the game. How are you?
Doing fine, Ryan. How about yourself?
Man, it's been too long. It has been too long.
I know it has, but I've been listening. I just haven't called, but I was on a long drive today. I'm headed down I-81. As a matter of fact, in about an hour and a half, I'll be at Pigeon Forge. What time's supper there at your relatives? Yeah, your relatives.
I think they went over to West Tennessee, so I think they were going to see other family. They were doing a circle. They were going to Pigeon Forge, leaving Pigeon Forge, which is where they live. They live there in Weir's Valley. Yeah. They live on one of those mountaintops up there. They got a huge cabin that overlooks Mount LeConte. So you're looking out their window of their living room, and it's Mount LeConte. So it's beautiful up there. But so they left Pigeon Forge, came down to Tuscaloosa, visited with us for a few days. Then we're going to see other family in West Tennessee, and then I think they were looping back to Pigeon Forge. So you could go, but you might get a ham sandwich that's in the fridge. Make your own, self-serve.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I'll just I won't get off there. Maybe I'll. Anyway, hey. Man, it's really cool that you guys are able to go to practice and have those viewing periods. You and Rodney, I been keeping up with Rodney's reports, and I'm sure that really makes you a little closer to this team, doesn't it, than previous?
Oh, I think you get a chance to see him, and it's been so long since you've been to practice. It's hard to do the comparison, right?
Yeah, but I would think that would, I don't know, make you feel a little more a part of it and that sort of thing. I just think that's really cool. I like the way Kalen DeBoer's embraced the media and, the community. Seems like a great guy. But anyway, hey, all right, I got a question. All right, Wayne, previous caller, just mentioned, the 2020 offense. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine last night, and the 2020 offense came up, and he was saying he thought this would be similar to a Sark offense. But, I was wondering if it would be more run-oriented or pass-oriented. And I know the last couple of days, taking picks on the wide receiver yardage, everybody's been talking about, the passing game. But I'm thinking we're going to do a lot of running and a lot of, passing to the running backs this year also. So I don't think we'll have a 1,000-yard receiver.
You do not think. So you're thinking we're just going to spread so much of the love that it's just going to be all over the place.
I do. And so for that reason, I'm going to go with Kobe Prentice.
Oh,
and I'm going to say,
okay. I mean, you'd be on an island by yourself, but I mean, think about this.
That's why I'm going with
it. But I mean, if you went Kobe Prentice, but I mean, you could go from, if he leads with whatever number. I mean, because so far we've had nobody. It's a smart move on your part. Right. It's strategic.
I don't know. I just thought of him yesterday, and then Rodney mentioned him today on your show. And remember how he burst on the scene. His very first game 2 years ago, and then in typical Bill O'Brien fashion, then he went into, it seemed like, witness protection mode. He didn't play for a long time, but he did play a lot last year. So I think he's going to be, I don't know, I'm just going to go with him. I like him. He's got great speed, and so I'm going to say 890 yards.
890 yards. But Terry, you're a very logical Alabama fan.
Right.
You've called us for years. What do you think about this team? What do you think about overall about this team? Not receivers, just overall this team.
I'm sorry, I lost you there for just a second.
I said you're a very logical Alabama fan. When you think about it, what do you think about this team?
Oh, I think they're deep. And it sounds like they're in great shape, physically young, with some question marks. But I think it sounds like they're having great fun. I think they're going to have a big year. I really do. Got a tough schedule, the game that you mentioned the other day when you were talking about your Tennessee relatives going back to Knoxville. That's going to be a tough one. And I want redemption for that. That game still haunts me. Somebody posted that that Malachi Moore and Kool-Aid McKinstry interception the other day on Twitter, and that still hurts. You remember the one I'm talking about where they call the pass interference right there at the end? That would have iced it. So we owe them one. And but anyway, I think we're going to be just fine. I think we're going to have a big year.
Big year. Championship? SEC title?
I think it could happen. Yeah, absolutely it could. Yep. It's all going to, all right, tell me what you've seen. How about Jalen Milroe's accuracy?
Improved, better footwork, more confidence. I think when you look at Jalen Milroe, it's one of those that you watch him take a big step in the right direction. You can see it. We started to see some of that at the back end of spring. I think throughout the offseason, we've seen it again.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's that's the evidence there. I think he's also more synced up with these wide receivers, and I think they do. They do something that challenges these quarterbacks. But I think you're seeing all of these quarterbacks when you're out there and you're watching Austin Mack. He doesn't look like the same player that he did even back in the spring. Ty Simpson's another one of those that does not look like.
I've heard he's become a grown man, from what I've read, So, that sounds very encouraging. I am really rooting for Milroe. He's such a class act, and I hope he has a great year. And, really, rooting for his success, really help the team. But that's going to be a key, because last year, he started out slow, improved, and then the last couple of games, I don't know. I don't know if it's all his fault, but
I think the one thing that we were watching yesterday, Parker Brailsford center, because we saw some of the stuff that Wayne was asking me about as far as what we saw when we saw them line up in the snaps. They're more consistent.
Yeah, that'll sure help. That hurt a lot last year. Offensive line was a huge disappointment. I sure hope, new coach, all this, they show the improvement, and that's going to be a key. So it's going to be very interesting, and looking forward to it.
Thank you, Terry. Hope you have a great rest of your day, man.
Okay, roll tide.
Roll tide. Thank you, Terry in Richmond, Virginia. We'll take more of your phone calls. Brad Powers. We go to Las Vegas next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
And high quality ingredients. We want to say, that sounds great. We've been doing that since 1974.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa.
Alabama Credit Union with the official countdown to Alabama Crimson Tide football right here on the game, alabamacu.com. The mobile app saves a lot of time. The mobile deposits, checking, savings, mortgage, home equity loan, financing a vehicle, the great competitive rates. Alabama.
The free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
After trailing by as many as 17 points to Serbia, the United States has now taken the lead with 1:41 left in their men's basketball semifinal showdown at the Olympic Games. The U.S. is up by a score of 91-86. They have trailed in most of this contest. However, Steph Curry has been a huge spark plug, carrying the United States with 34 points. LeBron James has 16. Joel Embiid, 19 for the Americans. Again, the U.S. trailed at 1 point by 17 points in this game. They now have a 5-point lead over Serbia, 91-86 with 1:41 left to go. France is awaiting the winner. French top Germany today, 73-69. Super Bowl 52 MVP Nick Foles has announced his retirement. He's calling it quits after 11 seasons. Brewers beat the Braves 16-7. Padres down the Pirates 7-6.
I got spirit, I got faith. I might bend, but I won't break. I'll fight the elements. And I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down, I'ma go down swinging. If I go down. This ain't our home. Nah, not even close. They camouflage like we fighting some ghosts. You start to doubt everything that you know. I feel the heat and it's starting to show. They try to break us, make us want to give
It's Toby Mack, Nate Oates. Nate Oates will be a part of our speaking engagement that we talked about in the 2 o'clock hour, the Pigskin kickoff coming up on August the 26th. Nate Oates, John Hanna, and Cedric Burns, somebody that we have all come to love here in Tuscaloosa for the last 40 years. Cedric Burns has served this university in so many different areas. We're going to go here to Brad Powers coming up here in just a couple of seconds. We're going to talk about the college football odds, a lot of excitement around college football, and we always love to visit with Brad during the college football season, and we usually visit with him about once a month. So we'll get his opinion coming up here in just a couple of seconds. We're always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. 1.9% on the Tundra. Some Camry features as well. The 2025, the Toyota Corolla, RAV4, the Highlander. It is Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. BradPowersSports.com, Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account. Hey, Brad, welcome back to T-Town. I hope you're having a great day.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, Brad, from a handicap perspective, is the lines adjusting to the excitement of Alabama football? Because when I go to practice, you see the word coming out of Tuscaloosa, maybe a little bit more positive than what it was a couple of minutes ago. Is Vegas kind of picking up on some of this momentum, the bullish, kind of believing in the Tide?
In a word, no.
Okay, really?
Yeah. So if you don't believe me, let's just look at the market. Let's just look no further than the next game they're going to play. It's against Western Kentucky. That line opened up 32.5, and I'm just saying it's the lowest I've seen it. I mean, at the sharpest book in town here recently, I mean, it's dropped to 30. So, not a big move when you're talking about significant, a big line like the plus 4 touchdowns. But there has been one-way action on Western Kentucky that this line's dropped about 1.5, 2 points, depending on where you're bet. But no, I think Vegas is treating Alabama more like a wait and see, and it might not even, depending on how that first game goes, it might actually have to wait until a few weeks until they play at Wisconsin for them to really get what they're, at least a feel for what they're going to be in 2024. But it's good to see that there's excitement, right there in Tuscaloosa. I can tell you for the most part, though, this off season, it's pretty much been very anti-Alabama with certain exceptions.
See, that's what's so unique is like when I look at like ESPN Bet, and you and I talked about this the last time we were on about 4 weeks ago. ESPN's got an even money ESPN Bet on the college football playoff, making it the college football playoffs. I almost look at that going, I don't know how this team is not a part of the college football playoffs unless they have major injuries.
Yeah, and I mean, in some spots, you can even get plus money on Alabama to make the playoffs.
Just to make the playoffs. Just to make the playoffs.
Just to make the playoffs. So, I mean, what is that? I mean, that's 3 losses at least. And I mean, certainly there'll be certain situations where Alabama could still get in with 3 losses. So, just, I'll say this. I mean, this is not in my opinion. This is just a fact. I mean, this is the lowest preseason expectations Alabama's had probably since 2008. So, it's been a minute where we've seen some of these numbers on Alabama football. I mean, whether it's a win total at 9.5, whether it's to win the SEC at like 10-1 at one point this offseason. Do you look at the national championship odds sitting at like 15-1 in certain spots? So we have not seen this type of tepid expectations nationally for Alabama in 15 plus years.
And I think a lot of it is how much faith they put in Coach Saban, and I don't think they realize that this is a better coaching staff, top to bottom. You and I have visited about this for years. This coaching staff that they've got on the field now, 1 through 11, 10 assistant coaches, it's a better coaching staff. It is a better coaching staff than Coach Saban had on the product on the field the last 4 years. You got to go back to 2020, the last time they had solid coaches with Sark and all those guys. This coaching staff, when you go to practice, you can feel it, you can see it, you can see the hands-on, and plus now you've also got analysts on. Chuck Morrell, which was the defensive coordinator at UW, he's an analyst, on-the-field coach now because of the rules of college football.
And that's completely the advantage of a program like Alabama, just because they have more resources.
Sure.
So, you and I talked about it. I don't think it's that controversial. I mean, apparently people haven't been watching Alabama football the last few years because, I mean, I actually think they've been, you could say, they should have beaten Tennessee a couple of years ago and should have beaten LSU a couple of years ago and this and that. I mean, but then I could just point to as many games on the opposite end where I thought Alabama was fortunate to win the game, like Auburn last year, like Auburn, the previous 2 years at Jordan Hare, the last 2 times that they played there. So, You and I have talked several years now. I mean, it's just not a well-coached team. Where does it show up? A lot of penalties, particularly on the road, pre-snap penalties, sloppiness and turnovers. Bryce Young bailed them out of a lot of games. Obviously, Milroe against Auburn last year bailed them out of that one. They very easily could have been a three-loss type of team each of the last 3 years, if not for incredible playmakers at the quarterback position.
Brett, I want to go around the SEC. When you look at Tennessee, they're at a plus 1,800, plus 1,200, plus 1,400. A lot of variance here on winning the SEC title. Not saying they're going to win the SEC title, but what do you think about Josh Heupel up in Knoxville?
Obviously, I think he's done a good job. He's certainly raised the profile of Tennessee football compared to what it has been the last 2 decades. Are they ready to take that next step and be a consistent 10-win team? I don't know if I see it on this year's squad. I know there's some legitimate and then I would say significant concerns in the secondary. I don't know if that's fully gotten addressed. I think they're a top 20 team. Keep in mind, for a majority of the top in the last 2 decades, they have not been a top 20 consistent team, borderline top 15 team. Obviously, it comes down to Nico. I think he's going to be pretty good. But he's going to have to be, I think, for Tennessee to meet some of these preseason expectations that have been placed upon him. I took a little bit. Here's the approach that I took. So I bet Tennessee under 9.5 wins. I mean, look, I think they're going to be an underdog at Oklahoma. I got them a short dog against Alabama, and they'll be a significant underdog at Georgia. And that still would mean that they'd have to run the table and win their other 9 games. And they got a sneaky tough game in week 2 against NC State. So I like under 9.5. But if I were to lose that bet, why would I lose that bet? Well, probably Nico is going to play like a Heisman, finalist type. I mean, if Tennessee's going to win 10 or more games, and I'm going to lose that bet. So I also bet Nico 25-1 to win the Heisman. So that's where I'm at on the Vols this year.
All right, let's go to the Missouri Tigers. They come to Tuscaloosa later in the season. When you look at Eli Drinkaway, it seems like a lot of momentum around that program. Are you buying the Tigers in Columbia?
Yeah, history says they should be a good fade team this year. They're off an historical outlier season. They lost a lot of their defensive stars, lost their defensive coordinator. Are recruiting at a better level, but not at an elite level. They do, lose an All-American running back in Schrader. But then, the best thing Missouri has going for them this year, man, that schedule. It's by far the easiest schedule in the SEC. And they're going to be a significant, their first 4 games are going to be a 3-touchdown favorite in every game. And they still got games against Massachusetts and Mississippi State, and that's not even counting in the first 4 games. So what I'm getting at is I only see them right now an underdog in 2 games, at Texas A&M and at Alabama. And they're probably going to be favored in their other 10 games, even if they slip up somewhere. But I still think it's a 9-win type of team this year.
All right, let's go to Texas. Texas loses their starting running back just a couple of days ago. Looks like from an SEC perspective, they're the second favorite team to win the SEC behind Georgia. Alabama's 3rd, Ole Miss is 4th. When you look at the Texas Longhorns out in Austin, what do you see?
Yeah, I've been pretty pessimistic as far as compared to the market. Now, I still have Texas as a top 5 team in my power ratings, but they were being treated like a top 2 team because they had a win total of 10.5. I bet under 10.5. They were, priced as a 10.5 point favorite on a neutral against Oklahoma. I bet Oklahoma in that game. So I'm kind of pessimistic on Texas because of the increased strength of schedule. First and foremost, playing in a new conference, a much tougher conference. They're also off their best season in 15 years. I know that leads to a lot of excitement and whatnot, but historically speaking, Texas, when it comes to trying to achieve preseason expectations, might be the worst team in the country the last 15 years because they've only gone over their win total twice in 15 years. That's very tough to do when you price in expectations like that. Under 10.5, you can still find it. I think it's one of my favorite bets still left on the board. I think that's going to be long gone here in the next 24 hours. That'll be wiped off the board there. We've seen some money come in against them in week 1 against Colorado State. That line's moved about a point in the last 24 hours with the news of Baxter. I still think they can be a playoff team, but man, I worry about them holding up. I even think a tricky game is playing Texas A&M on the road in the finale. That's not going to be no easy game, and obviously they still got Georgia. They're at Michigan. We'll get a good look in week 2 what Texas can be this year. But I guess I'm just not buying that all of a sudden they're going to flip a switch as a program and be a top 4 or 5 program overnight. I don't see that at this point.
7-6 last year, as you brought up Texas A&M. They got 9 starters on the offense, 9 on the defense back. Can Mike Elko get this team to a nice win total. What do you see in College Station?
Yeah, the 9 starters back on both sides. They brought in, not necessarily they were starters at A&M last year. They were starters at a bunch of other programs.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Kudos for Mike Elko to get as much experience as pretty much any power team in the country through the portal. I mean, he went over, he went production over potential, in my opinion, and I think that's good. It's needed at A&M. They've been going for the 5-star, the flash, and more of a blue-collar approach. I like Mike Elko. I think it's a great hire. And I like A&M this year quite a bit. I bet over their win total. I think that Notre Dame game in week 1 is massive. Whoever wins that, I think could be in line for a special season. What do I mean by special season? I think the winner of that game can make the playoffs, believe it or not. With A&M, you're like, whoa. I mean, they only won 7 games last year, making the playoffs. I mean, have you seen the schedule? I mean, Notre Dame, LSU, Missouri, Texas, 4 toughest games. All 4 of them come to Kyle Field. I mean, there's a possibility that A&M is probably favored in 10 games this year. So, again, if they beat Notre Dame, coin flip game I think this team can make the playoffs, which would be a tremendous first season for Elko.
All right. We know about Pete Golding because we watched him here in Tuscaloosa. We know that offense, you got to have something more because LSU had a great offense, but they had a bad defensive side of the football. When you look at Ole Miss, what do you see?
Well, on paper, you got to like what you see, and I agree with them having one of their highest preseason ratings in the history of their program. My gut's telling me something different, though. Again, when a program like Ole Miss has their highest preseason expectations, when a coach like Lane Kiffin, I like Lane personally, but he's got enough of a track record now. I think is entering his 15th year as a head coach, even back to his days as a Raiders coach. He has never had back-to-back big-time. Go look at his entire coaching career. He has never had back-to-back big years as the head coach. Big years, I'm talking 10, 11 win type of seasons. And that's what, the expectation for Ole Miss is, a 10-win type of season. It's playoff or bust for them this year. And then the expectation is not only make playoffs, but I think they feel like they win a couple playoff games.
Florida State. Sorry, my bad.
Whenever that happens, I tend to be pessimistic. So I'm taking a wait-and-see approach there.
Brad Powers right now visiting with us. Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account, Brad Powers Sports. We're talking a lot about handicap and odds. Let's go to the national level because earlier today I was looking at someone that kind of did some college football projections. He had Florida State in the college football playoffs, but also had them as one of those 4 teams that earn a bye in that first round. What do you think about Florida State on the national level? Yeah, that looks funky, but keep in mind the top 4 conference champs get the top 4 seeds. So, I mean, you're going to have teams like Utah that might have 2-3 losses, and they're among the top 4 teams because the conference champs get the top 4 seeds. So that'll be something I don't think once people realize that's the format, I don't know if that's going to keep everyone happy, but we'll see how that turns out here. I kind of agree with it, to be honest with you. I think they're the best team in the ACC, even though they lost a ton. Even though last time we watched Florida State play, they lost by 60 to Georgia. They've done a nice job in the portal, like usual. I think Mike Norvell does about as good of a job as anybody in the transfer portal. Are they a national title contender? No. But they're certainly, in my opinion, the best team in the ACC. A little bit better than Clemson, a little bit better than Miami, Florida. And then, at this point, I certainly trust Norvell more than I do Mario Cristobal. Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks, also a lot of preseason hype. You look at the national championship odds, when you look at it, it's Georgia, Ohio State, and then Oregon. Are you believing what's happening in Eugene? I am. But yeah, just from a pure talent aspect, I mean, they're coming off of, the great the historical recruiting class as far as they're concerned, the best in the history of Oregon football last couple of years. They've been close. The last couple of years, there's a guy by the name of Kalen DeBoer that's kind of ruined their ceiling the last couple of years. Yeah, if not for Kalen DeBoer, Oregon probably been in the playoffs in the last 2 years. Dan Lanning's, done a nice job recruiting. It's time for him to take the next step as a head coach. And in those types of close games, I'm looking at the Ohio State game, I'm looking at a road trip to Michigan in November. He's got to make better decisions, type of decisions that win or lose a football game. He hasn't made the right ones in those high leverage games against a Washington, for example, the last couple of years. Everything's there. They've gone all in. Obviously, they got the Nike money behind them. It's shown up in the portal. It showed up in recruiting classes. I like the schedule this year. They'll be favored, possibly even being favored over Ohio State, so they could be favored all 12 games.
I like Oregon at least to make the playoffs and make a deep run in the playoffs.
That's what's so awesome about Brad. I mean, he could take you a lot of different places. Utah's another team that's getting a little preseason hype. You buying it?
You know, I'm buying them as the favorite in the Big 12 and their new conference. They're just the most trustworthy program, at least at this point. Whittingham's been there forever. I liked what I saw. And look, Rising hasn't played football for a couple of years. The quarterback I'm talking about, I watched him in the spring game, though. He looked pretty good. In fact, he looked about as good as he's ever looked. So, and why is that? Well, Utah's a team that did a very nice job in the portal as far as bringing Rising in some weapons at wide receiver, something that Utah has struggled with, has not had a lot of great receiving options. So, I'm buying them as a favorite in the Big 12. Now, can they win a playoff game or two? No, I'm not buying that.
All right, let's circle back, and I want to talk about some teams that maybe are not getting that preseason hype. Let me start in USC. Lincoln Riley. Is this, for one, are you buying that this seat is beginning to heat up a little bit? And you buy that the Trojans can have success in the Big Ten?
You know, I'm buying, his seat. I mean, start 11-1. He's 8-7 the next 15 games. And you look at this year's schedule, Florida's the only team right now in my projections that has a tougher schedule than USC. I mean, LSU and Notre Dame in the non-conference, and then you're playing in the Big Ten. You're at Michigan. You're playing Penn State. You're at Washington. You're playing Wisconsin, Nebraska. I mean, I don't know if they're built yet at the line of scrimmage to handle all that increased physicality. With that being said, I think they can be, if they stay healthy, I think they can be sneaky good. And by sneaky good, I don't expect them to make the playoffs, but they can go over their win total, which is, believe it or not, I mean, if you look at expectations in tepid, 7 win total, I mean, that year 3 under Lincoln Riley, I don't think USC signed up to go 7-5.
Hey, Brad, circling back, let's go back to Alabama just for a couple of minutes before we get you out of here. I always appreciate the conversation. Wisconsin on the road. What are you buying as far as Wisconsin? And then what do you see an Alabama line on the road at Camp Randall?
It's up to 10. That's a game I did bet Alabama on. I laid 7. It just was too short of a number.
Is it just offensively? Is it just offensively that Alabama's just going to be this explosive?
Well, obviously it's a unique trip for Alabama. There's a little bit of concern there, but I mean, they're not going to be overwhelmed. I mean, Camp Randall, in my opinion, is a little bit overrated. And if you look at their home record, isn't that great the last few years. I'm not buying. I think Wisconsin's better in year 2 under Fickell, but I'm still not buying what he did on offense. Wisconsin football wasn't broke, in my opinion. I mean, they had a great formula for 30 years. Run the football, play physical, offensive line. And what they need to do is just, get somebody in there that can recruit a little bit better and find a quarterback. And they can maybe take that next level that they were looking for to completely change and air raid your offense in that kind of weather in November. I didn't like the move. And, year 1 didn't prove to be that great for Wisconsin. I'm not sure this year, you look at their schedule. I mean, I know this is kind of in the weeds, but what does welcoming in USC, Oregon, and teams like that to the Big Ten, what does it do? Well, it really hurts the teams in the Big Ten West that have had a lot of success, Iowa, Wisconsin, especially when they got rid of divisions. I mean, their strength of schedules have increased dramatically. And I think even though they're a much better team this year, I think still Wisconsin's like 7-5 in my projections.
Brad, do you do anything on the NFL preseason? You like it?
I like it if I get to the information as quick as possible because, I mean, I'll look no further. I'll give you an example tonight. We're talking with a total of 35, so suppressed scoring, Carolina, New England. It's supposed to be a very low-scoring game, and yet on the side, we've seen a 5-point line move. New England's went from a 1.5-point favorite to a 6.5-point favorite, so that tells you that somebody knows something. New England's going to play their starters much longer than Carolina, and, boy, it's the one time a year in one sport where somebody's trying to win, somebody isn't. So there's actually a lot of money to be made in the preseason if you get to that information first and foremost. Am I betting New England now at 6.5 after it's already moved 5 points? No, but boy, I'd like a New England minus 1.5 ticket in my pocket. I can tell you that.
Yeah, preseason football is kind of, it's hard to. At times it's fun to watch, but then at times it's kind of hard a little bit. I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, you can. It's football, and this time of the year, it's like the appetizer. It's the crackers and ranch on the table before you get the steak, but it's at times it can be a little hard to watch.
Hard, yeah. For the average fan, yeah, it's tough. I wouldn't recommend it. For the guys that do this professionally and bet it, it's we love it.
Brad Powers, I want you to promote everything that you're involved in, man. You've got your hands all over world of college football. How can people connect with you and get your content?
Yeah, first and foremost, you can follow me on Twitter and X or whatever you kids are calling that website these days. You can follow me, Brad Powers 7 there. If you like what you see, you can head on over to the website, bradpowersports.com.
bradpowersports.com. Brad Powers 7 on the Twitter account. Hey, Brad, thank you again, man. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
Hey, thanks for having me. Take care.
Hey, thank you. Hey, we do our grand prize package, and we do this every year, right? We give away a Rectech grill and a Rocky head-to-toe package, all the great items there that we've been a part of. We do this every year. We do a grand prize package. We're given a chance to get some early entries in. We're talking about the receivers. We're asking you a very simple question. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we did passing yards. What do you think about Jalen Milroe passing numbers? We had that stat out there that we threw out there. Now we're talking about receivers. Who is going to lead this Alabama team in receiving yards in the entire season? When the end of the season, we'll look at it and we'll go, hold on, whoa. Hold on. Who's going to lead this team in receivers? There's a couple of names out there. One of the reasons why I like the variants, I like that there's all kind of options, and that's evident. How do I know? Because I'm looking at the board. I'm looking right now at every one of the calls that have called in. I mean, we don't have a lot. I mean, Jeremy Bernard's the guy that I think most people, but there's a lot of names that you could put out there. We've had some Ryan Williams. We've had Kendrick Law multiple times. We had a Kobe Prentice a couple of minutes ago. We even had a running back. That's probably a little bit of a stretch, but hey, it could be an option. Could be an option to bet that. All right, we'll take phone calls. We do have two lines available, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. We finished up with Brad Powers. We are done with guests until 6 p.m. Some more audio from Kalen DeBoer, more audio from Kane Womack, and more audio from Nick Sheridan. Nick Sheridan talks about this wide receiver room. What's his big takeaway? 1 week into practice, what do we know about these receivers? I'll let the offensive coordinator tell you next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Eastbound interstate traffic has been a nightmare all day after a fiery early morning truck crash in West Tuscaloosa County. Crews were still trying to get I-2059 reopened as of noon. AlDOT is also set to begin a 5-week nighttime painting project on a bridge over the interstate near Skyland Elementary School tonight. Finally, the Tuscaloosa Farmers Market has pulled off a three-peat and been named the best in the state for the third year running. For the details on these stories and more, get connected at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have got a huge situation in Knoxville moving into Foster's. Now, early morning accident on 2059 on the northeast lane shut down. The stretch between 43 and Holly Springs still shut down, folks, and they're not giving a pickup time for that as of right now, but
so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
For over 5 years in our community in downtown Northport under that Roll Tide Bridge, Mark's Mark, the home of the chicken swirl. You'll find that since 1978 in Selma, Alabama, for over 5 years in downtown Northport. If you want to dominate the grill today or any day, find Mark's Mark. A great stop by on your way home. If you're preparing for dinner, they've got a lot of those gourmet dishes that you can find, the great casseroles, the dips, the appetizers, the great steaks, the pork chops, the burgers, and all the supplies you need to dominate the grill.
By Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 26 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-2503.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny.
And for you, call 800-8000 or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I've made a few. I've had my share of bad kicks in my face.
Whoa, Wyatt, are you starting to believe? Is that what this is? I mean, is this White? I mean, you played We Are the Champions. Is that Is that something that I mean? Hold on a minute. I mean, this sounds pretty solid, Wyatt. I mean, are you
prophesying? Somebody got to get me some chapstick around here because one of our show hosts going to call me a chapsticker.
Oh, he's already called you one too?
Oh yeah, I'm the master chapsticker apparently.
Well, hold on. I tell you what. Let me just reach right over here because anybody that talks for a living, you've always got chapstick here. So, Wyatt, I'm gonna do the honor. I got some official chapstick right here from it's Burt's Bees. Beeswax Lip Balm. Vitamin E and peppermint. Oh, yeah. I'll put that right there. Yeah. There we go. Roll Tide.
We need it, apparently. It's a prophecy, baby.
So Corey's actually called you a chapsticker. Okay. Well, I know he was on my butt for a long time. But Wyatt, you got all those recordings where he was saying 8 and 5?
We got it in the bank. 8 and 4. That's what he said.
Oh, it was 8 and 4. 8 and 4. Okay, so
he at least was giving us a chance in the bowl game.
Okay, so he did give us a chance. Okay, but he even after going to practice, he crawfished a little bit on some videos. So he hadn't did it on the radio.
Well, somebody called him out and said, "Sounds like you liked something, or you liked something that you saw at practice." And he said, "Wow, whoa, wait a minute," and he backtracked real fast.
Okay, so. That's okay. We like crawfish. We love crow, too, and we've ordered an 18-wheeler full of crow. We don't mind sharing with our colleagues. We're okay doing that. Let's continue with more phone calls. Let's go to Ram, McCalla. Ram, good afternoon. You're in the game. How are you?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Ram. I can't hear you, man.
You? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you. I don't know who it is. Sounds like Ram. JR? No?
Hey.
Yeah, your cell phone's not doing you any favors. I'll put you back on hold, and we'll see if we can come back to you. Let's continue with more. AC Bangladesh. AC, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Good afternoon. Can you take my call after the next person? I'm a little busy. I apologize. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you...
I can wait.
Okay, no problem. I'll put you back on hold too. See if we can get Ram right there. What in the world is that right there? And then I'm gonna get Robert in Mobile. I don't want Robert's one of our best, so we're gonna get. Oh my heavens! I don't even know what to say. Sometimes this radio thing. Hey, I also want to go to Nick Sheridan talking about wide receivers, talking about the wide receiver room because I think he identified that. Let's try this again. Let's see if his cell phone. Ram, is your cell phone any better? No, you're awful. You're awful. Throw that thing in the trash, man. Yeah, his cell phone. I think he tried twice yesterday. So
right hand up, honest to God, crystal clear. When I talked to him,
yeah, 10 seconds ago. Line. 10 seconds ago, Ram, we can't hear you, man. So
right, 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't sound very good. So sounds like sounds like Joe Biden. In my opinion, but could be. Let's go back to Nick Sheridan. Joe, wake up from your afternoon nap. We'll see if we can get you back in here. Nick Sheridan talking about the receivers. I'm going to take Robert and Mobile on the other side. Let's go to Nick Sheridan talking about what he's learned 6 practices in, talking about this wide receiver room.
I think the biggest strength is speed. I think it's a room that can run. I think that's pretty apparent. I think just the small details. I think that's true for every position. As the install starts to build, some of the fine details that we're harping on them and Coach Shep is pouring into them each and every day. It's just making those things habit. And so that's what I would say.
Okay. And what he's learned about him? Speed. He also said Jamarcus Shepard's the best wide receiver coach in the entire country. He labeled that. That's a big comment, and I think I would agree with that. I think Wyatt's got that as well. Jamarcus Shepard got a lot of love from his offensive coordinator. Jamarcus Shepard, not only the wide receiver coach, but he's the co-offensive coordinator at the University of Alabama.
Coached by, in my opinion, the best wide receiver coach in the country, and so...
That's what he said. Even expanded part of that as well. When you look at that wide receiver room, that's one of those that we're talking about. Robert and Mobile, get ready. We're coming your way. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. The game is powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota, TuscaloosaToyota.com. David DeSantis, the largest selection of new Toyotas in over 3 years, can be found on Skyline Boulevard, 3325 Skyline Boulevard. Also a nice inventory of pre-owned inventory. You can find the new Tundra, the 2024, the Tacoma two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. How about a new 4Runner, Highlander, RAV4, Camry, Corolla? For those outside of Tuscaloosa, save.
Or find us on Facebook, Andrew Conifer Agency. Once again, you can reach us at 205-722-9201. Allstate.
Want you to jump in. Ram sends us a message on our app message. He said, "Hey Ryan, go on your well." He's on. Yeah, I got to put some words in here. Ryan, go your vacation. Had my earbuds off. That's why I couldn't hear you. My bad. Appreciate you. What led me try a second time roll Tide? All right, so maybe that was Ram. So we couldn't hear Ram. I think it was on your end, but it could be on our end. But we've got the phone lines jammed up. Let's continue with more phone calls. And right here on the game, I do remind you about Southern Ale House, 1530 McFarland Boulevard. We had a great lunch over there today, by the way. It's always a good place to have lunch. Brian Harden picked up the tab. Thank you, Brian. Brian's the only person who went different. We all went chicken tacos today. Nashville hot chicken tacos. Had a little lemon pepper kick to it. Did not go the bread pudding today, but you can have that. The upside down pineapple is what their bread pudding this week. Pretty awesome when you look at their wonderful stuff. Today for dinner, blackened mahi tacos. Those are awesome. Smoked pork chop, coffee rub prime rib. And like I said, we had a great event that we were talking about, this pigskin kickoff that's going to be featured coming up in a couple of weeks. You've got John Hanna, which will be one of the featured guests, as well as Nate Oates, University of Alabama basketball coach, and our good friends there, Cedric Burns, is going to be part of it. And as Brett Garner reminded me, he said it is not. And you know what? I'm a day behind. I literally read the Wednesday, I guess this practice, just having all this practice, I guess for some reason I did. It was the Buffalo lemon pepper chicken tacos. Oh, yeah, fried chicken. I know I had them, but they were awesome. A little different. The brisket po' boy was an option, but the blackened shrimp over Cajun Alfredo. And then tonight's dinner special, coffee rub prime rib, smoked pork chop that is literally that thick, blackened shrimp. But like I said, appreciate Brian Harden. Every Friday made possible by those guys there. So be thinking about that pigskin kickoff and a chance to go out and support some great charity here with Tuscaloosa Angels, which helps foster, but also University Church of Christ. And we'll have John Hanna as the headliner. Nate Oates and myself will go up on stage for about 30 minutes. I'm going to do a little presentation about the upcoming season, and then also with Cedric. So we'll continue right here on the game. Let's go to Robert in Mobile. Robert, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
Hey, man.
How are you, Robert?
Hey, so any hints as to who's emerging as a potential wide receiver one? I know you don't know until the game starts.
If you said, Ryan, pick your guy, I would go Jeremy Bernard. But I think because I think there's so many wide receivers in this room, and I think there are a lot of talent in this room. I think Ryan Williams has really had a great camp so far. 1 weekend, I think we learned that this man is no longer a freshman, that he's ready to make an impact. That's one of the things that grabs me. Could you go Kendrick Law? You could, but I think the part, and you're an engineer, okay, you got to calculate because there's a lot of dudes in that wide receiver room. A lot. Deep unit.
Yeah, of course, you never know till, the games get live and Lord knows then they get punched in the face. And then who's the guy that they can withstand that and keep on getting punched in the face and getting on up? That's kind of how wide receiver one gets selected. Who can take that big hit and get right back up again. So we'll see how it goes. And with the funny thing with Alabama, I guess with every team, wide receiver one sometimes doesn't emerge till 4 or 5 games in the season. Devontae Smith didn't start that magnificent season as wide receiver one out the gate. In fact, he didn't emerge until Waller got hurt, really. So it can take that long, and as great a season as he had, Waller injury is what really turned him into wide receiver one. So maybe it could take that long. Miro may have to just get used to spreading it around before the guy shows up. And it's kind of weird that, every team you have to have the guy that is the wide receiver one. Brady, I guess, comes the closest to being able to spread it around without a necessarily wide receiver one in New England. They managed to make that work. But it's the only team I can think of that's the exception of it. That's the exception, not the rule. Usually you got to have some main guy. And it's just funny how that works. So we'll see who Miro's main guy. And you said, what was his name again?
I think Jeremy Bernard's got a chance to be that guy. But listen, I think with Ryan Williams and the elusiveness that he's been able to show, man, that's a big one. It's a big one. If you made me, I would go Jeremy Bernard. But I could probably make a case for Ryan Williams too. I think he's going to be that good. He's going to be that good. And like I said, I think this room is going to be so talented to be the leading receiver. Who knows? Mm-hmm. It could be separated by 10 or 15 yards at the end of the season. I think Rodney said a couple of minutes ago, you may see a lot of guys competing for that spot, that they're all going to get tons and tons and tons of yardage because they're going to have tons and tons of opportunities. This offense could beat you a lot of different ways, Robert. They're going to keep, and the trick that I love? Mm-hmm. If we interviewed every defensive coordinator in this country and we said, what is the one thing that you don't like to defend? It's not up-tempo. It's not, the RPO. It's balance. Balance. When I look at this Alabama team, I think they can be super balanced. Plus, you got a mobile quarterback that can extend plays. So you have 2 running backs that are 1-2 punch with Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. Then you got all these dudes at wide receivers, and we don't even get a chance to mention this. The tight ends are going to be off the charts. This offense, I'm like Jeremy Bernard yesterday. He said this team is going to score 40-something points a game. Yeah, I think they will. I think that'll be the average. They averaged 34 last year.
And, the processing speed of Milroe and the quarterbacks are going to be huge. What made it worse for Brady and why he was able to get by without always the one guy or the one receiver. Although, he didn't have what's his face. Big guy, Gronkowski. So Brady had his favorite, to where the guy that became the one. So I guess I got to take Brady off that list too. You're going to have the one that quarterback gets that gel with. You really got to have that chemistry. So it'll be curious to see who develops that for Milroe. But yeah, the balance. How well faster he processes it. Do I need to run? Do I need to go tight end? Do I need to throw it to the running back in the flat? That's huge. And if the coach can get that out of him, the process quicker, which is better for him too. He's going to have to process faster if he wants to make it to the NFL. Then this could be special. I was just curious. We're talking about the wide receiver. It's like I'm just saying, who's going to be that one, and when is he going to emerge? And with Alabama, the one doesn't always emerge right out the gate. In fact, it rarely does emerge right out the gate. Julio Jones is the only one that can come to mind. Amari Cooper. Julio and Amari Cooper are the only ones that come to mind that right out the gate, they're the one, it's over. Other than that, it takes some time. So we'll see how that goes.
So, Robert, I'm putting you on the spot, man. Who do you like to lead this receiver room?
I'm not familiar with them all yet. So I guess I have to go by what you said, the guy you said. I'm not familiar enough with him yet to get a feel.
Okay. And here's the thing, though, Robert. It's a contest because we do a preseason contest. We did last week. It was Jalen Milroe. That was a little bit easier. Next week we'll do running backs at some point. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge too because you're trying to pick Justice Haynes or Jam Miller, because both those are very talented running backs, and I think they're seen in the eyes of that coaching staff as 1A, 1B. And then here comes Richard Young. You got to kind of calculate this, but just a chance to put your name in the bucket for the grand prize drawing if you're close. And we like to do this in the preseason, kind of create a little conversation.
Oh, so we are picking now?
Yeah, Robert.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pick your guy.
All right, so you're going Jeremy Bernard, but now listen, I can't help you with the numbers now. I can help you with a guy.
How many yards?
Yeah, so
let's see. Ooh, it's going to be spread out, so it's going to be tough for somebody to get 1,000 yards, but I'll say 1,015.
1,015. I want to make sure that I don't have any. Yep, you're good. You have got 1,015. 1,015. Robert in Mobile, I thank you so much, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
All right, man. Catch you later.
Thank you. Let's continue here with more of your calls. 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. I'm going to try him one more time. And if he's not there, then we got to move on. Ram, let's try it again, man. I hope all is well.
Can you hear me now, Ryan?
Yeah. What is going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good. I guess I'm technically impaired. I think I turned my earbuds off yesterday when I was talking to you, but I need help, I guess.
Well, we're going to teach you. Ram. We'll take you by the hand. I mean, I got Tommy and Romulus that struggles with internet. I've got Biscuit Bruce trying to get on Twitter. We're gonna do some things. Don't know exactly everything, but we may have like a training seminar.
Yeah, me and Tommy, and we probably need to go to the night classes.
We're going to see if we can get you up to speed.
Okay. Hey, Ryan, I want to ask you a question about one of our ex-players real quick.
Okay.
Because I hadn't heard anything about it. What did Henry Ruggs, what is his status?
I think Henry, did he do a plea bargain? I thought he did. Did he not? I think he did a plea bargain, or maybe I'm wrong. No, he's serving in prison. He's part of that DUI sentence, man. He got sentenced, May the 24th? Yeah, I Google Henry Ruggs. It says ex-Las Vegas Raider Henry Ruggs working at Nevada Governor's Mansion while serving prison sentence.
He was a talented player.
But you know, it reminds you, man, you must not get behind a wheel when you're intoxicated. I mean, for one, you don't need to drive that speed at any time, right? But
right.
Well,
you're right.
Yeah, he, according to this, I guess he was sentenced, but a minimum of 3 years, a maximum of 10 years in the state prison. So he did do a plea bargain.
Good gracious. Well, hopefully he'll get out and he'll be able to play again. But
and I listen, I know that I don't think Henry's a bad dude. He just made a mistake. It looks, obviously very serious, and it was. But I also look at it, and I look at, my experience with Henry. That's all I can judge on. A young man was always super respectful to me. Anytime I interviewed him, anytime I was in a media availability around him, I never had a problem with Henry Ruggs. But it just shows you, man, you cannot let your guard down, man. You've got to be able to make. Think about all the money that he gave up, but also I'm looking at this article. This article says he's making $2.50 an hour. Tragic crash. And he is life-changing, not just for him, but also that claimed the life of the 23-year-old.
I know. I hated that, and I guess those Georgia boys are lucky they hadn't done something like that.
Well, they've had deaths over there. Unfortunately, that's been that's a culture problem, man. You got to make smart decisions. Like I said, I like Henry as a person. I'm sure there's probably nobody feels worse about it than he is, and psychologically, I pull for the guy. But you get behind the vehicle. that's a grown-up decision that was not very smart, and there's grown-up consequences. So as an Alabama fan, he embarrassed our alma mater.
Yeah. DUI, you driving a missile.
So, I have grace, but there's consequences out there. Ram, give me a prediction. What do you think?
Okay, I'm going with Bernard.
Okay.
And I'm going 1,007 yards.
Okay.
And I think I got one more comment. I think Dawson would be proud of Marty. Marty is as positive as you can get.
Well, and Marty has to put up with all these out-of-state people up in Arkansas. He sounds like it's a big fight at breakfast every day is what it sounds like to me. So
I know. I love hearing him.
Yeah, I do as well. Thank you, Ram.
Okay, Ryan. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Super. Thank you. Thank you for calling in, Ram McCullough. We'll continue with more of the game. Todd, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. An early morning accident causing major havoc still this afternoon, and that's on 2059 for folks heading in from Knoxville on the northeast lanes, and it is still shut down in between 43 and Holly Springs Road. You have got Holly Springs Lane.
The year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
DanielMooreArt.com. Daniel Moore Art celebrates those special moments of Alabama football history like 4th and 31, Jalen Milroe connected with Isaiah Bond, or the legacy continues with all the great memories of Alabama Crimson Tide football. You can celebrate Coach Saban with a Nick Saban print, the limited edition canvas. You could also find many of the great mini prints. Celebrate that special Alabama fan in your life. DanielMooreArt.com. The game, that's the code word for a significant discount. And when you check out, tell them that you heard about it right here on the game. DanielMooreArt.com. Dos Amigos, Highway 69 in the new Publix Shopping Center. 11 a.m. opening, 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday closing at 9, Sunday through Thursday. Some great Mexican cuisine, the great fajitas, the great desserts, the great lunch specials. You'll find it at Dos Amigos in the Publix Shopping Center on Highway 69. Takeout.
Delivers within 30 miles. And if they don't have what you need, they'll get it. Cypress Supply, 2036 62nd Avenue, Tuscaloosa. Cypress-supply.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny. The high 92.
Or find us on Facebook, Andrew Conifer Agency. Once again, you can reach us at 205-722-9201. Allstate, are you in good hands?
The Pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas, 205-752-0627. PharmacyMidtown.com. Don't forget about the retail side of the Pharmacy at Midtown. It's an independent-owned pharmacy specializing in walk-in prescriptions, medicine on time packaging, which
or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823. Custom curbing for your home or business. Do away with those plastic individual stone borders. Go for that more permanent, decorative concrete border. No more grass growing between those individual stones. Cleaner to edge to maintain. They're willing to travel, not just here in Tuscaloosa, but also in our neighboring states as well over in Mississippi. Many colors and choices. They'll customize for that individual taste and house. Give them a call at 205-331-6823. You could also go to their Facebook account. Find their page. You can see exactly what the videos. They came out, did a free quote. Paul gave me an evaluation. Give them a call, 205-331-6823. Free quotes and evaluation. It is Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. Call Paul at 205-331-6823.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
The United States men's basketball team trailed Serbia by 17 at one point during their semifinal game today, but the U.S. came back, and boy, did they ever.
Puts it up short, and the United States trailing by as many as 17, back from underneath the grave, advance to the gold medal game.
Topping Serbia 95-91 on NBC, Universal, USA, and Peacock as the Americans got 36 points from Steph Curry as they outscored Serbia 32-15 in that fourth quarter. LeBron James, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists in the 4-point victory. The Americans will advance to face France in the gold medal game after France dropped Germany 73-69. Today, baseball saw the Padres victorious against the Pirates 7-6. San Diego's won 5 straight. Braves have lost 5 in a row. Brewers beat them again today, 16-7. And the Mets, they lead the Rockies right now in the 9th inning, 9-1.
Rolling down a backwoods Tennessee byway, one arm on the wheel, holding my lover with the other, a sweet, soft southern thrill. Worked hard all week, got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better, I'm together with my Dixieland tonight.
All right, let's count them together. You guys ready? Hey, Austin, Texas. You guys ready out there? Hey, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You guys ready? Athens, Georgia. Hello. Lee County. You guys ready? Let's do it together, just where you guys will know who is the greatest university in the history of college football. It's 18 national titles. Nobody has more. Really, nobody's even close, to be honest with you. That's not arrogant. Just me being honest. 30 SEC titles. No, we've doubled up, more than doubled up the second-place team in the SEC. 30 SEC titles. 147 first-team All-Americans, 77 postseason appearances. Nobody has more. 45 postseason victories. Nobody has more. It's the NCAA all-time scoring leader. Obviously, that is a record. 4 Heisman winners. We do have a couple of teams out there that have a little bit more Heisman trophies, but we're closing in with 4 Heisman winners. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys for listening to our show. We are always powered by Tuscaloosa Toyota. TuscaloosaToyota.com, 3325 Skyland Boulevard, and online at TuscaloosaToyota.com. The great dealership right there on Skyland Boulevard. If you're looking for 1.9% Tundra, you can find it right there. 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. Let's go to Robert in Brookwood. Robert, good afternoon, my friend. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All's well, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Did you get my text just a few minutes ago?
I did.
We won't say nothing. Just do you think yes or no?
100% without any doubt.
We'll let it in there. You almost made me just spit my tea out. That's
yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Well, every state's got one. Amen. So, you're talking about receivers. Why has nobody mentioned Kendrick Law or Kobe Prentice?
No, there's been a few people. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Kendrick Laws.
Oh, okay. Well, that's who I'd go with.
I'm sorry?
That's who I'll go with, Kendrick Law.
Okay. What's the yardage? What do you think?
I think it's going to be spread out. We may not see nobody with 1,000 yards. I'm going to say 880.
880. Make sure nobody's even close to that. Yeah, you got it. 880, Robert. And Kendrick Law is one of those guys that he's put on a lot of weight as far as size and bulk, but he's always been big. He looks like he plays linebacker. He's a wide receiver that's got tons and tons of speed, but also a lot of power. If you're going to come across the middle, you got to be tough. He's willing to do that. And he's also, he's a tough son of a gun, man. He is whoa, my Lord. Speed, but also a guy that is lifting quite a ton of weight, man. Ton of weight. So he is strong, fast. He's everything that you look for, in one of those physical wide receivers. I think he can have a big role in this football team. I like the K-Law pick.
How's Prentice been doing in fall camp? Have you heard or noticed? Or
I think he's had a chance. I don't know if I'd put him at number one. I think that's going to be spread out of love. I think we talked about a couple of minutes ago. Balance is the key. Running backs, wide receivers, and then tight ends. And then you combine that with a mobile quarterback. I'm having a hard time seeing how this offense cannot be successful.
Well, the line's just 20% better than it was last year, which was horrible. And
just start with snapping the
snap
football.
Exchanges. If you just fix that.
I've
never seen nothing like I saw last year with all those snaps like that.
And then people want to tell me how great of a coaching job it was. Really? Okay.
True.
Some of the same problems that they made in game number 1, they made in game, 14?
Well, I brought that up to a local radio guy that's on early in the morning. He seemed to say that the offensive line coach there was a Joe Moreland Award winner or something the year before, but that didn't matter nothing about here in Alabama.
Yeah, it was not good.
Where did he go? We talk about what coaches he talk about that.
Back to Kentucky.
Back to Kentucky.
Yeah, his name was Coach Wolford, Eric Wolford. Yep. And we all had high expectations. I don't think we've had a dominant offensive line since 2000. And really that was a solid offensive line. Landon Dickerson anchored that offensive line, but just from a standpoint of whipping somebody in the trenches, been a while.
Yeah, good point. The late Cecil Hurt said something in Nick Saban's second year, first game in Atlanta against Clemson. I remember I used to have it around here. He used to have a column on Sunday morning. He said the biggest play of the game, and he knew the season was going to be different, was the very first play of the game when Alabama handed off and gained almost 5 yards on the first rush. He could tell then, just by one play, that this team was different. Oh man! And then come to find out, it was. They ran the ball and it's just dominant. Just by one play, you can tell by attitude. Now think about that. That a lot of times first play is incomplete pass or a run for no yardage. But the Clemson game, he could just tell that there was the difference in this team by the offensive line, the attitude. And that is where it starts. We can have fancy offenses, we can have receivers, but Deion Sanders said, I can match up with them quarterback, I can match up with them in SEC at receivers, but the big men are at the line, defensive line and offensive line. He said, we don't have that. And that's still what it boils down to, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 80s, Bear Bryant days. It still boils down to what kind of men you got on that offensive line and defensive line.
And I think your offensive line is going to take a step in the right direction. I think it has to. There's no way it can go.
They've got to, right? If it's like last year, what kind of season we're going to have?
49 sacks. The snaps were all over the place. But just really, our pass protection was garbage.
49 sacks, good. And it is a miracle that they still went 12-2.
Well, but Robert, what does that say? When I'm on other SEC shows, I remind them, you could not take advantage of a down year in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Hey, Baton Rouge, we're looking at you. Athens, Georgia. Yeah, hello. How you doing? You were going for 3 in a row. You couldn't beat this Alabama team last year? What does that say about your coaching staff?
Yeah.
That you couldn't take advantage of this Alabama football team that was not one of Nick Saban's stronger units.
Well, you said even though it was the staff issues, it's still he should have been coach of the year for what he did, man. That's the truth.
So,
and even the year before with what's his name, the guy that went to the Patriots. I mean, the offense was just. It was a good job of Saban last year to go out. Just a miracle where they was at. I mean, let's face it. None of us thought they were going to beat. Did you really think they were going to beat Georgia?
I did not.
I didn't either.
I thought Georgia was going to do something that had never been done in the history of college football. I think they were going to go win
3-peat.
Yeah, I thought they were.
And you had said all last year somebody's got to stop that machine in Georgia, and Alabama did it.
And little did I know that it was going to be the Alabama Crimson Tide. If I'm a Georgia fan, and I know that we get calls from Josh over in Georgia, Bama Nick over in Georgia, Mac Bama from Atlanta. These guys call in. I would be, Robert, I would not let these Georgia fans off the hook because I don't think they need to be reminded. You were headed for 3 in a row. You had already 2-peat. You were ready for 3 in a row, and what happened? You couldn't beat this Alabama team. Oh, well, we had injuries. Well, everybody had injuries.
They yelled at us when we said their national championship game we had injuries, making excuses, and then they did the same thing.
Yeah. So,
oh well.
I mean, this Alabama team's got a chance, man. Robert, every time I go to practice, I was talking yesterday for the guy that had an opportunity to go to practice, and this guy's won multiple national titles here in Tuscaloosa. He said they got a chance. They got a chance. And we're not talking about a chance of going to the playoffs. We're talking about a chance of hoisting up the trophy over to Atlanta and saying, take that, college football. Hey, Baton Rouge, my friend, Matt Moscona, how you doing? You having a good day? You may not be in January on the 20th. Maybe serving some
If I had a choice right now, to something would say, well, if you can win at least one national championship in the next 5 years, what year would you pick? I would pick this year just to rub it in everybody's face.
Yeah, I'd love to see them
whatever.
Down. Robert, they would be coming apart.
Could you imagine Cannell on his little 2-bit show in the morning? How he already hates Alabama. How he would be react.
Everybody. I mean, it's called Alabama fatigue syndrome for a reason, and there is no cure. You can go to the pharmacy at Midtown with TJ Thomas. You can ask for the best drugs they've got. There is no cure. Because I mean, it's truly a syndrome. It's a little on the crazy side. Robert, I got you down, man. K-Law, 880 yards. Have a great rest of your day,
yes,
man.
Sir. Thank you, brother.
Robert Brookwood, thank you. Let's continue. Let's go to AC in Bangladesh. AC, you ready?
I'm ready, sir. How you feeling? Thank you so much for taking my call, man.
Man, I'm good. Having a great day.
You had me at the wrong time. I was having cookies. You don't want me to start mumbling, so I was like, just take someone else, and I'll be ready for you. But I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for taking my call.
So hold on.
Forget
about football. When you got cookies, you got me distracted. What type of cookies?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that question. So I was just looking at the packet. Brown butter chocolate. That's what it says, literally.
Brown butter chocolate? That's
butter? What it says. That's what it says.
I thought about Googling that, but I don't know. Hold on. I got a brown butter.
Oh, God. Now he's going to Google this. What is this, man? Why did I even think that? No, I was exercising. Forget it. I did not have cookies. Can you Google how to exercise at least?
So is it got chocolate chips in it or no?
Oh, yeah. You know what goes with it, right? Some coffee. But let me tell you something. Since we're talking about food,
No. I mean, we got to talk about cookies, man. I mean, I'm thinking about my favorite cookie. I like macadamia nut cookies.
But I want to give you some advice. Why did you cut me off? I want to give you some advice. Why don't you try?
I'm trying to find some common ground with you, AC.
You're not going to, because I'm not going to let you. But maybe you can find with this one, sweet dates with cup of coffee. Oh my God! You ever tried that before?
No.
And you should. You say you want to find common ground. I'm trying to help you. I try to help you, and you try to help me. It seems like you and I we give each other tough love. But so what's going on? You guys are predicting some what is it? Like wide receiver? How many yardage or what is it? Give me just tell me what that question is. we're just predicting or something? What is going on? Tell me.
We're talking about who's going to lead this Alabama football team in receiving yards.
I would go with that. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know I don't know the entire roster. Kendrick Law, whoever
Well,
this person
how about
is.
Randy Moss? Do you like Randy Moss?
He retired.
Well, no, but he's got a son that's here. He's really, really good, man. He's one of the best.
But here's the thing, Mr. Fowler. I can lie to you.
Well, I'm lying to you right now.
I know. You can lie too, but only roster. Without looking at the roster, only thing I can tell you is Jalen Milroe. That's all I got. Is Tyler Buckner or whoever he is he still in the roster, or did he just went to the NFL?
Tyler Booker is here, yes.
Okay. All right. See, I got at least two of them. I couldn't pronounce the last name for the other guy.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot give you the entire roster. I love sports, but I'm not going to just, I'm not a dedicated, let's look at this person's stats. No, I'm not hardcore. I got life, man. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, I guess I'll take that Kendrick, whoever this guy is. What am I giving, yardage or something? What am I giving?
Total receiving yards. Thanks for paying so much close attention, AC.
I try my best. So what is the other
as you're
guy?
shoving down cookies, surely you heard us talking about receivers.
I did. Then I forgot about it because I got too distracted by cookies, just like you.
How many cookies did you have, AC?
I'll be honest with you. Only two. Literally, only two.
Why didn't you share? I mean, could you not bring us a cookie?
I mean, I can give Bama Nick some, and if it makes it to Tuscaloosa, sure, he can have it. So what am I giving? So what did the other guy pick, the yardage? What did he
went 880 yards.
890, right?
880 is where he went.
Okay, 880. I'm going to go 881.
Wow.
What do I know,
AC,
man?
you're such a nice guy, man. I mean, you're just, so friendly.
What do I know? I mean, what do I know? Like, I shouldn't. I don't know nothing about sports. I'm a trash talker, right? But let's talk about those Michigan Wolverines. Didn't I tell you probably 5 months ago NCAA is going to come after them? Didn't I tell you? And I told my Michigan buddy, they're going to come after you, and they're coming after Michigan. But you know what's a funny thing? I'm pretty sure you know about this. The funny thing is NCAA said, you can correct me if I'm wrong, NCAA goes, if Jim Harbaugh goes to the college football, they're gonna suspend him for 1 year. What kind of joke is that? Did you hear that before? Did you hear that on your news?
I did.
It's a joke. So what's your reaction? I want to hear this. It's a joke.
I mean, he's not coming back to college football, so there's no punishment, right?
Yeah, I understand that, but here's the thing. I don't know if I told you. This is what I came up with. Jim Harbaugh wins a championship, then he runs to the NFL. His lawyers told him, you better start running because NCAA is coming after you, and it's going to hurt your wallet. That's realistic. I don't know why they don't have the same brain as I do. I mean, come on. Why would this guy run all of a sudden just because NFL has a coaching position open? Come on, give me a break. This guy ran. Michigan, they cheated. NCAA is horrible. Like, it's a joke. Like, we need to watch sports.
I agree.
Sports is fun. We need to watch sports.
I mean, we found some common ground here, AC. That's my challenge here with you. I mean, we found some common ground. We found out that you like cookies and I like cookies.
Oh yeah.
And we both hate the NCAA, and I hate the NCAA.
But I hate them more than you do.
No, you don't.
Of course, I hate them way more than you. I can probably start renting, get your blood pressure up right here, right now. I can do that for you.
No, you can't.
But here's a question. Well, I love you. But here's the thing, Mr. Fowler. Friday, when you have your, what is it?
I love you too, AC.
I appreciate that too. We love you too, Bama Nick. We love you too. You love him, right? You love him, right?
Some days.
Okay, forget it. Before I say something. So when you have your free-for-all Friday, I know you're going to have your question, whatever the question you want to give out. The question
is,
yes.
This is a topic that we've been discussing off the, on the app messages. Should we ban AC in Bangladesh? That's tomorrow's show.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to say something. that should be a question. That's great. The question should be, who invited AC to the show?
Who did?
That should be a beautiful. Yeah, that's right. Who did? I want to hear most of your callers. Who invited AC to the show? Stop blaming Dominic, because I addressed that already. He did not send me the formal invitation. I cannot wait. Hopefully, the first person to answer that will be the hater Tommy in Romulus. He has no energy, no effort whatsoever. Matter of fact, all your callers, they don't have energy and effort. Dominic, I mean, I get it. He served the country. I get it. I understand his energy level. He's a good guy, but you got some haters, man.
Do you just want to be AC? Like you wake up and say, "I want to be hated today." I mean, is that what you do?
Oh my God! You made me feel better right now. You know, I got on 2 radio stations. This is my 3rd time. I want everybody to hate me.
Okay.
I want to be the villain, baby. I want to be the villain. But don't worry, they're not going to hate you, because I'm going to make sure they love you. Do you have any idea how many ladies out there, they love me? They all love me, baby. They want me. But the thing is, your tribal chief AC is taken. Too bad, honey. But Mr. Fowler, here's the thing.
We're going to get to break, man. So,
well, you should get Brother Simon on, your producer. He's smart, just like the other brother Wyatt. Come on, man. What is going on? Did he go to school or something? What's happening with him?
No. We didn't go to school. We're studying cookies. That's what our job is.
Oh, beautiful. Keep studying those cookies, okay? Don't forget, a cup of coffee, my brother. Love you. Holla.
Roll Tide. We'll continue with more of the game. Cowboy, get up. We're ready. We're taking you next. Biscuit Bruce, I see you. Greg and Alabaster, I see you. We're coming to you next. T-Town Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Eastbound interstate traffic has been a nightmare all day after a fiery early morning truck crash in West Tuscaloosa County. Crews were still trying to get I-2059 reopened as of noon. AlDOT is also set to begin a 5-week nighttime painting project on a bridge over the interstate near Skyland Elementary School tonight. Finally, the Tuscaloosa Farmers Market has pulled off a three-peat and been named the best in the state for the 3rd year running. For the details on these stories and more, get connected at TuscaloosaThread.com.
Get 24/7 local news coverage and sports updates when you download the free Tuscaloosa Thread app and sign up for twice daily email newsletters. Tide 100.9 Traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. It is a hard knock life for our friends in Knoxville heading up into Foster's. 2059 on the northeast lanes. Early morning accident shut down all of the lanes at Holly Springs, but now you have a full complete closure between 43 and Holly Springs, and an accident, a couple of...
To you by Tidwell Chiropractic, the only 3rd-generation chiropractor with over 26 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-2503.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today around 94. Fair tonight, the low 72. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 92. And on Saturday, mostly sunny and not as humid, the high close to 90. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9.
Man, when I turned 16, I saved a few $100.
Let's continue with more phone calls. We had Cowboy out in Texas. Cowboy, good afternoon, sir. You're in the game.
How are you, Ron?
I'm good. I'm good.
I just got back from the great Gulf Coast of Alabama.
Oh yeah,
It was beautiful down there.
All right, so
Nice and green.
I want you to give me a report. What do you? What's the crowd like down there?
Well, I thought the crowd was pretty good. You know, it's a little the beach. It was a little subdued. People wasn't getting in the water as much as I'd seen before. You know, a lot of jellyfish, and they had a high tide on red flag on Monday. So, you know, a lot of precaution was going on. I saw on the beach, but went up to Coastal. It was good. And my brother went down, and I went by there Tuesday, but went back and got my kids. But Bahama Bob was rocking. If you've never been there, Coastal was a beautiful scene. overlooking the Gulf there. They're in Orange Beach. Good food. Only thing bad about these restaurants in Gulf Shores is if you want to pay with a credit card, they want to charge you a credit card fee. And by the one rule order of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz kind of way you do things, they don't want cash. So I don't know how these restaurants might quit charging you for using a credit card, I think.
Well, but the problem is they're getting charged. And I mean, they're getting popped in the mouth. I know a restaurant that I was talking to probably about a year ago. He was showing me the fees that they pay through the roof. So
maybe if Donald Trump was elected, he'd stop those credit card fees because he says he's not going to tax waitresses for their tips. So maybe he can get that credit card fee.
Well, Cowboy, I've been thinking about it. I enjoy paying $3.90 a gallon for gasoline. I've thought about it, and I've really, just been thinking how much I enjoy paying $7 for a gallon of milk, and $5 for a loaf of bread. I don't know about you, but I enjoy when I look at my checking account and it's not as much as what it was 4 years ago. I like looking at the stock market crashing. I love to see small businesses going out of business. I love to see people on the side of the road with a work for food sign. They're having to fight for the corner. I enjoy that.
Well, in Dallas, we got guys.
And I'm being sarcastic. I hope people are not real, but how would you vote for this crap for 4 more years? I mean, be honest.
A lot of people vote with their. They don't care about their pocketbook. They don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah, maybe they got more money than I do. Maybe that's a problem. So
it's just socialism. That's all it is. It's socialism. We may be headed there, Ron. I don't know. Have you been on that?
I can't wait to take some of your money, man. I can't wait.
You for DEI, Ron?
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well,
here's the way I describe DEI. You ready?
Yes, sir.
If this old heart that's right here that's controlled by sodium, sodium controls the heart rate. If I go into the emergency room and I walk in, I got chest pain and I'm diaphoretic, I'm sweating and I'm having an MI, which is myocardial infarction. If I'm having a heart attack, I want the best cardiologist that I can get. The best.
Yes.
I don't care what race he is. I don't care what gender they are. I want the best of the best. That's the way I describe DEI. That's the way I view it. I
thought it was driver education influence.
Oh, okay. Well, I took driver's education. I don't even think that's a class anymore, but I did. But yeah. So to answer that question, I want the best of the best, man. So when I walk in, it's kind of like when we hire producers. I've worked with some of the best of the best. Minorities, it doesn't matter to me. If you get the job done, you get the job done.
Just best candidate. That's all I'm looking for. Best candidate.
So
hey, Ron,
that's where I stand. So you ask me where I stand, that's where I stand. If I go into the emergency room, I want the best of the best.
I stand with Ryan, man. I stand.
I mean, it's a common sense approach.
Yeah. Well, hey, we were down there at the beach, talking to different people out around the pool, drinking refreshments and that good stuff. And you look at these schedules of all these major teams, and Ryan, it looks like you're designed to go 10-2 in a 32-team playoff. What do you think?
Say it again. You're designed to go what now?
These schedules and all these new conference alignments and everything. Everybody's kind of designed to go 10-2.
Yeah, I think the
team playoff in chaos.
I think the undefeated side of college football's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you're. Well, Kirby Smart said it. Is the first time I heard a national coach, at a big time level, say it. That meant. I mean, he's looking at. I'm sure he's trying to get his fan base to understand that we're probably not going to go undefeated. I think that's a thing of the past. I don't see it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say this, but I'm a former W.A. Berry Buccaneer in Hoover, Alabama. And what's some new candidates for the Hoover job come December? Because they're going to have to load up and get them a new one. I see the coach resign, which
So now I would imagine, did you go to Berry High School or did you go to Hoover?
I went to Berry. I'm an old dude.
Okay.
W.A. Berry. Bob Finley was the head coach. Coach Bob Finley. There's not a finer man in the country than Bob Finley. I'd put him right up there with Gene Stallings. He died on the football field cutting the grass. That's how dedicated he was in 1994. Coach Finley was an awesome man.
Yeah,
and
what
backup running back to Johnny Major.
What Cowboys talking about? Hoover's football coach and defensive coordinator both resigned. Coach Gilmore and Helms they're out. So they
that guy that went 2-19 at Albertville up there at your neck of the woods. He's not going to be able to cut it come next year when they got to go hire a new guy. I don't know. I guess we're going to see who some of the top coaches in the state or the Southeast.
Knowing the resources you guys have, I don't think you're going to have any trouble getting a big-time coach. It's how you're going to navigate 2024 to be determined. To be determined.
Yeah, that's a sad deal. Sad deal. Now, did I see where Hillcrest is now 7?
They are.
Are they playing the Hoover, Thompson?
I believe they're in that
Stadium?
Region 7. Is that what it is? Region 7? Yeah. Is that Region 7 or is that Region 8?
Who dropped out of that? Is Hewitt still in it? Or
I hadn't looked. I know County High's there.
Okay.
So,
I got it.
But I mean, what it used to be Spain Park, Mountain Brook, Hoover, Thompson. I mean, it's one of the toughest divisions probably in all of sports. I mean, it's kind of like the SEC West used to be. I mean, you better have your chin strap buckled a little bit tighter.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I got an email tonight on the NFL Network. Carolina Panthers versus the New England Patriots starting at 6 p.m. I don't know if Bryce will play a series or not.
I don't think Bryce is going tonight. Yeah.
I sure hope he has a big year. I believe him and this new head football coach at New Carolina they're on the same wavelength. They're on the same page.
Yeah,
I believe they're going to turn it around.
I'd like Bryce to silence some of the naysayers like Tua did. I mean, there was a bunch of naysayers around him, and it'd be nice to see them transition into that. I'm pulling for Bryce because he wore that crimson jersey, and we do that for all those Alabama guys. But it's just so hard because when you're drafted that high, chances are the franchise kind of stinks, and it's hard to get out of the gutter, man. It's kind of like our Auburn Tigers. They're in the gutter, and we're pulling for them to stay.
I didn't bring up Auburn. I'm not worried about Auburn.
Well, they got this All-American candidate Peyton Thorne that we keep hearing about. On the bunker. It's
Peyton Thorne. I'm talking NFL. I'm not talking about some guy playing at Auburn. I was gonna talk a little more NFL there with you, but I guess you don't care about these Alabama guys when they're gone. I'm in an NFL city, Ryan, Dallas. We got the Cowboys, or some people out here call them the Cowgirls, with Jerry Jones, orchestrating the orchestra. A guy asked me today, do you think Jerry Jones wants to win, or does he like what goes on now with the team because he can sell and make a lot of money? I said, you got a good point.
I'm going to talk about the NFL. You talked about the top 100 players in the University of Alabama. Let's go through those. Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa.
Jalen and the head coach. Jalen's a coach killer. Now, him and the head coach are having trouble up there.
It looks like they are. But let's go through the top 100. Alabama's got more players in the top 100 than any other college out there. Tua's at 36. Quentin Williams at 37. Derrick Henry at 49, looking for big things in Baltimore. Patrick Surtain out in Denver at 52. 54, Jonathan Allen. 63, Jalen Waddle down in Miami. Amari Cooper at 70. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick at 79. And then also Devontae Smith at 90. We have more players at top 100 players in the NFL than any other college.
And some of those guys should be ranked higher. Minka Fitzpatrick is, I'd say he's a top 50 guy.
He's a dude, man. I love to watch.
That's a Minka Fitzpatrick, Ryan. Boy, he brought me some glory. Goodness gracious, that block punt over in Athens for a touchdown, a pick down there at Texas A&M. Boy, when I saw Minka on the field, I knew he was going to be a dude. Goodness gracious, he could play, Ryan.
I shared a photo just a couple of days ago, the first time I ever saw Minka Fitzpatrick. So it was a freshman, and I went, that didn't look like a freshman. I had very similar thoughts to Xavier Brown. You look out there and you're like, man, it's got a step ahead of the competition. But that's what big high school football do to you. Cowboy, I got to get to break, man. I appreciate you.
All right, Ryan, I appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work, and remember, believe in the Lord. He'll get you where you need to be.
Amen. Thanks, Cowboy. Appreciate you, man. We'll go to Greg and Alabaster coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll take your phone calls right here on the game. T-Town, Tide, 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Rates as low as 3.99. And yes, specials on the all-new Frontier V6. $3,000 instant savings and rates as low as 2.99. See Kylan or BJ today at Townsend Nissan.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, it's getting worse before it gets better. We have got a major accident right now on Colville Road at Clinton Drive. Also, McFarland Boulevard, westbound to Jack Warner Parkway. Go ahead and make your way to the left lane because the right lane closed. And it is still massive down in Knoxville, from Knoxville coming on up to Foster's.
Works for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code WORKS to save 15% today.
You're listening to the best sports talk show, breaking down the Crimson Tide. The Game with Ryan Fowler on your home.
He worked his ass off all week. Yeah, somewhere way out there in any given time. There's a red
Scrimmage coming up on Saturday, the first one of several, but this one's a big one. And we'll start kind of making our way through some depth charts. We'll talk about that. Let's go to Greg and Alabaster. Greg, good afternoon. You're in the game. I hope all is well.
All is well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's a great day to be alive. Travis Tritt said it, but I agree with him.
Yes, sir. 100%. Hasn't been exciting today, has it?
A little bit of excitement, but we didn't have practice this morning, so I'm trying to deal with all this. Just so much practice availability, but we'll have Kalen DeBoer on Saturday following the first scrimmage.
That ought to be interesting.
Should be pretty solid. There's a lot of key competitions out there, and this team gets a chance to kind of show what they're made of, get away from the coach's instruction and see what they can do on their own.
That's right. I think it's going to be a good influx to see really how much depth we've got overall. Because I think the starting 22 is going to be pretty good. It's just what do you have behind it, and how fast can you get some of the younger guys sped up to where they can make play meaningful snaps without really hurting.
And we'll see. We'll see on this offensive line at that right tackle spot. They're battling, but really that secondary. I mean, there is some key battles right there. I mean, you're talking about Deshaun Jones. You're talking about Jalen Mbakwe. You're talking about Xavier Brown. And then you want to continue to see these safeties really take a big step. The new defense, but I've heard some really good things about the defenses out of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to you, and you keep teasing it.
I know. I'm close, but I want to get through this first scrimmage before I come out and kind of give a bold prediction. But I thought about it earlier this week, but I said I want to wait.
So let me ask you this and let you think about it for just a minute.
Okay.
Prior to Nick Saban and his complicated defensive schemes, would you say it happened more regular that guys that were uber talented, you could take them and basically put them in a simple coverage, see ball, get ball, see man, match man. And start letting them, as they gain, game experience and how they got burned or whatever, then you can start evolving the game plan a little bit because they've seen it and now they can start relating to it. But they're so athletic, you can't really, it's hard to keep them off the field. How many times have we heard that over, even the last, not necessarily for Alabama, but for other teams, they were so athletic we couldn't keep them off the field. Well, how many times have we had really athletic guys we kept off the field because they couldn't understand the system? So that's a roundabout way of saying some of these young guys, like in Buckway, okay, he's been taught basic technique. It's just when he's had to play it, is see ball, get ball. And now you're actually teaching him technique, and you can see him start taking that next step. These guys coming in, if I'm not going to say it's like, peewee ball, but these systems, is not going to be uber complicated, where you run this zone up to, from 7 yards to 11 yards, and then you drop them, and at 14 yards you pick them up if they're at this hash versus this hash. So when you allow them to basically play a matchup or a true zone that, you're not counting players come out, you camp out in this area. Do you agree that there's a much possibility of these younger guys playing because of that?
I think you're going to have to, Greg. I think you're going to have to simplify it enough that because if you sit here and like, Marlon Humphrey, his freshman season, redshirted.
Yep.
5-star. He was 2 years after that, he was gone. 3 years total, he's out. You better be able to get these guys ready. If not, they're either going to transfer or they're out of here. They're gone.
Well, and being honest, with a 14-game schedule, basically is what we're going to,
right.
You're going to have to play some of these guys and get them ready all across the field. You're going to have to take your lumps. They may hurt you a play here or there, but at least with this staff, from what I'm seeing, they don't beat you up. Yeah, they're coaching you up, but it's not like you messed up so bad you're going to go sit on the bench and we'll be lucky if you get back on the field. How many times did we see that under Saban? And God knows why am I even saying that? I mean, Saban did us a great job, and it worked. But in this day and time, how many really good players did we lose because of that?
Greg, these are great points. And I ask, it's kind of funny that you're bringing this up because I've got an interview, not an interview, but just a question to Colin Hitchler. Watch my Facebook account later today because I asked him, I'm going to post it up there, because I asked him about simpler and what the word simpler means. You're going to love his response.
Cool.
Because he placed it back on responsibility. He said, yeah, we talk simple, but that doesn't mean it's not, high demands.
Right. You don't have as many possibilities at the snap of the ball, but you still have responsibilities if you got to hear to keep the defense sound.
Yep. So
with me saying all that, I think from what you see at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year, especially defensively, I think it's going to be daylight and dark difference. I don't really see, and just being honest, when you look at our schedule, do you really see anybody that's going to, until game 5, 6, 7, that has the possibility of really hurting us defensively bad?
4, yeah, Georgia.
Georgia
by 4.
stretching team-wise? Well, Georgia, but we pretty much know what Georgia's going to do. It's not necessarily like it's not going to stretch you horizontally and width-wise as much as, say, like a Lane Kiffin or a Kalen DeBoer. It's they're going to run the ball, they're going to take their shots, and they're going to try to, get you to declare one way or another. But as long as you play sound, you don't have to play great, but just play sound, and it can slow them down.
Hey, Greg, give me a wide receiver, man. I'm trying to squeeze into the final few calls right here. Wide receiver and yardage. What do you think?
I'm going to go Kobe Prentice, 1287.
1287. Got it. Thank you, man.
Roll Tide, my brother.
Roll Tide. Greg, Alabaster. Let's continue with more phone calls. We go to JR and Coker. JR, good afternoon. You're in the game.
Hey, you got me on here. I can't believe it. How about that?
We did.
Actually, I was driving around. I was out there in the middle of that accident thing on Interstate 59, taking all the little detours around Foster's. And so when you do, there's a lot of dead spots where you can't get a signal, especially get over there near Tommy.
Yeah.
Romulus.
Well, we all know the cell phone issues there, do we not?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, I believe, because, I mean, there might have been a couple times it was something going on y'all's end, but I do really think that probably when I went through Romulus, because it just dropped the call.
Okay,
anyway, here I am.
Yeah, no big deal. Give me the receiver because I'm literally right here.
All right. It's a law that I have to pick law.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna pick what's his first name?
Kendrick Law.
Kendrick Law. Okay, Kendrick Law. And I'm gonna go $9.99.
$9.99. JR, I appreciate you, man, as always.
Hey, man, I'd like to get in a call and be able to chat with you more, but it just has to be another day. Maybe tomorrow during
Sounds good. Free for All Friday, sponsored by Brian Harden Construction, and going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. Let's continue. Let's go to Cole. Cole, good afternoon. You're in the game.
What's up, Ryan? Let me give you my receiver prediction. Hollywood Williams, 1,100 yards.
All right, let me see. I think we've already got 1,100 yards. No, we do not. Not for Ryan. We got 1,100. Okay.
Give me Hollywood, 1,100 yards.
All right. I like it.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Thank you, man. Let's go to Ellis, Manchester, Tennessee. Ellis, good afternoon. You're in the game.
I like that that stuff y'all just put out on the Al.
Okay, super.
Pictures of the practice.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah.
We did a photo gallery. Yeah. It's
yes. I just got through checking it out.
Yeah, and
listen, we got these sideline reporters too, haven't we?
We do. Damian Harris, and I just read Christian. I have not addressed that because. I thought, and I don't know a lot of the details. Christian just put out a statement. Return to the Capstone's been an incredible team, and tradition has been one of the greatest honors. I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity to have shared the sidelines with some of the most talented, most dedicated individuals in the game of football, both as a player's reporter. The experience has not only enriched my career in broadcasting, but has also allowed me to reconnect with the passion of Alabama fan base and truly makes this program so special. And a lot of various commitments, I'd like to announce that I'll be scaling back my role with CTSN, and he's passing the torch to Damian Harris, and we'll leave it right there. But
cool. And I got to say that the picture of the freshman receiver.
Yeah, man.
He looks